And welcome to the UGO podcast. Merry Christmas, everybody! Woohoo! It's our Christmas show, and who has the holiday tidings? Why, it's me, Nick, the Merc with a mic, my fellow Unapologist, my god of the pod.
Every once in a while you forget, and it makes me happy, and then you remember again.
That's why every once in a while you'll get it to where that'll be your New Year's gift. Is my New Year's resolution there. And of course we have our news correspondent, our Holly Jolly,
Justin Zarian, and I would talk about whatever my true love gives to me for Christmas, but I am single still, so. Aw.
Well, then get yourself something.
Yeah,
I am my true love. Yeah, I am my own true love.
Hey, self-love is the best kind of love sometimes.
Get your hand a nice present.
No. My hand and I haven't talked to each other for a while now.
Well, that's awkward.
Right hand, I love you the most. But we are talking about
What are we talking about?
I don't remember. But you know what? You know what really makes me
masturbation jokes. Woo!
You know what really makes me sympathetic for the holidays? Superheroes. Specifically superhero TV.
Okay.
Well, that is what the main show is going to be today, where I'm going to be talking with Zach Dolan of the comic book Super later, as well as Odabro Ed of the Oda Brothers podcast, and we're going to be talking about the Arrowverse shows from this mid-season break, because we have not done that yet, and I wanted to get it done before this year is done, and now it's basically our Christmas episode.
So time to do it, I guess.
So it's about time to do it. So
hey, Merry CW, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Fuck it. But yeah, that will be later in the show. First, we're gonna have some Christmas tidings. We'll have some geek news going on, and yeah, we're gonna have just a general good time here. So I was thinking about the holidays this season, and I was thinking about some of the worst holiday specials that like we were talking about last year. The Star Wars holiday special, right. Life Day. Speaking of possible masturbation with Grandpa Wookie, that was weird.
No.
And it made me think of like what is going around now. The Star Wars. The Last Jedi is really split. There's some real fighting going on. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
Oh, I can't imagine who may not have liked it on this podcast here.
There is there's a petition right now to make it non-canon, I guess, going around.
Okay, that one, I will agree with most people that is ridiculous. Like, look, you can like or dislike the movie, that's totally fine. I happen to be in the group that disliked it. But
yeah, I will not. I'm going to sign the petition because this movie's too good to be in the Star Wars canon. So I think that's a correct decision. We should wipe it.
And the fight starts.
And I thought it was kind of garbage, but okay.
See, so this was interesting because when I was watching this movie, I actually thought like, you know what, this movie, while I'm really digging it because it's blowing up a lot of the Star Wars status quo, I thought to myself in the theater, you know what? This movie has structural problems, and it has like a whole like out of the three stories, one of them is like very slow and doesn't work very much. The casino arc, and I'm like, yeah, this is just not as good of a movie as Force Awakens, and I don't think the critics are going to like it very much. But I thought the Star Wars fans would have gone nuts for it because it does stuff that no other Star Wars film has done.
Right.
So this, much to my surprise, this week. It was the exact opposite.
Nope, critics loved it, and fans despised it.
I remember one of a guy I follow, Rob Walker, was the Nostalgia Critic's brother. He was like, you know what? I'm totally on board with this. We need to make all the Disney sequels non-canon. And then he decides to go like Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, gone. Brother Bear 2, we have to destroy it.
I don't disagree with that part. That might actually be
for the best.
Like Mulan 2, it has to be erased. Let's
Bambi
get rid of
2.
everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get rid of these movies.
I would actually perfectly accept getting rid of this Star Wars movie to get rid of all those movies. I would take that sacrifice.
But I was thinking about, of course, like the in the spirit of Life Day. Let's move on to some of the other the holiday specials. I was trying to find the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Christmas special, which was one of their live action specials. Like the puppets kept getting worse and worse for their live action shit. And this one was just them singing a bunch of their turtle versions of the Christmas carols.
Lovely. That sounds like a Just a monster waste of time.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's so bad. They gotta go up and get a gift for Splinter, and I think they're running around in New York just terrorizing what I'm assuming are the regular residents with their horrifying visages. It's like, hey, we're trying to get oh my god, you're a monster. Kill it with fire.
Now, I'm gonna say, like, do those puppet things still look better than the Shrek creature things they are in the CG movies?
I don't know, like do you mean the TMNT CG movie?
No,
Or
the
Michael Bay CG movie.
The Michael Bay ones, like where they look like giant ogres, essentially. With
I'm actually not sure which ones are scarier.
That's terrifying.
Well, the puppet ones look like they're actually, as fake as they look real because they're real puppetry.
Mm.
So there's not that disconnect you get with the CG ogres that the Michael Bay films are. Then I think that you can actually tell what they are more than the Michael Bay versions because the Michael Bay versions are so over-designed. Mm-hmm. There's like a big massive blob of stuff.
Well, they just have everything on them too.
Yeah, well, these ones are under-designed like crazy, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Justin, do you have a Christmas special that you go to every year? A go-to, feel-good Christmas movie?
I don't. I know my family does, because every time I come home for Christmas, my sister's like, let's watch Elf again. It's like...
Oh, why?
Damn.
Why would you subject yourself to that?
No, okay, look, Elf is a good movie.
No,
yes,
it's
it
not.
is. Yes, it is. But... Watching it 20 times...
It's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah, watching it 20 times...
It's automatically a bad movie.
Watching it 20 times makes it less good. So
we did. We had to do that in high school, I'm pretty sure. We watched that movie like 20 times in high school.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that I don't think the movie's good. I think it's just having to watch it over and over again. We literally got to the point where we unanimously vetoed that decision anytime my sister brings it up. It's just like, no more.
Smack her on the nose.
Pretty much a bad sister.
Yeah.
So we don't really have a traditional, special or anything like that. But, we like watching just the random Christmas movies. Like, we watched The Santa Claus last week, the other night.
Oh, yeah, the Tim Allen one.
Yeah, which is not great, but not bad either. It's a solid, something that's inoffensive and the whole family can watch it.
It has 3 or 4 sequels?
I do love...
2 sequels.
Only 2 sequels? Okay.
Yeah.
I do love a movie with a premise where they murder Santa Claus in the beginning.
Right?
Yeah, the idea too that pretty much he's being strong-armed into turning to Santa Claus. It's like, nope, sorry, you got the disease. You're going to turn into the Santa now.
Well, it's like, well, I don't want to be Santa. Well, you shouldn't have killed him. I didn't kill him.
That's not my problem.
We were like a Muppets Christmas Carol at our house.
That's
We like to see Michael Caine interact with puppets.
No, you gotta say it. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine interact with these fucking puppets.
A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Unbelievable, this blue little son of a bitch. I did not see the Muppet Christmas Carol, but I did see the condo it bought me.
That's still one of my favorite Michael Caine quotes ever about the Jaws movie.
That's a great put down of like, hey, have you seen Jaws? I did not see Jaws full, but I did see the house it bought me. I'm just like, fair enough, my friend.
I will give you that.
Fair enough. Like, what are you supposed to say to that? Yeah, so of course we have the Charlie Brown Christmas special. I feel like we, at our house, we never really actually watched that one.
I just rewatched that because I bought it on Blu-ray, during one of my Christmas, getting the last minute presents and that stuff. It's still super sweet, like it's obviously 50 years old, but it's just, there's just something unique. There's some magic about that short. It's just really, really charming,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love all of his friends yelling at him for fucking up, and then once a year they're going like, "Yeah, maybe we were a little hard on Charlie Brown." Yeah, and then it's one of the only specials where they come together and like, "Yeah, okay, we're sorry. Let's make it up to Charlie Brown." The other specials are just like, "Fuck that kid."
No. Even funnier, the Thanksgiving special is the one where they're like, "Hey, Charlie, you're gonna feed us, right? Great, we're gonna be over there soon." Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I've seen that one then.
No, all the
his friends are
Peanut
jerks.
specials.
Well, yeah,
his friends are always. That's why I love the new movie, the Peanuts movie, where he finally gets to talk to the little red haired girl.
Yeah,
and the movie finally gives Charlie Brown a win because I'm just like, yes, I've been waiting like decades for this to happen. And I love that Lucy's in the background like, wait, the little red-haired girl likes him? Like, yes, because he's a nice fucking guy, you goddamn monsters.
And you're all terrible.
You're all...
The sad thing is, we finally started watching Stranger Things 2 this week, and the kid who plays Will Byer in that is the voice of Charlie Brown for the Peanuts movie. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, no, and that's the scary thing. Is like, if I close my eyes, I just picture Charlie Brown going through the Stranger Things story. Just like when I hear his voice,
life isn't terrible enough.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, Charlie Brown, what's the worst that happened? I mean, did the world come to an end? Almost, Linus. There's goddamn demodogs all over the place.
I mean, at least they can call it Zombie Boy, so there's that.
Oh, but yeah, I'm super excited to spend some time with the fam for this Christmas. Watch some more of my Christmas specials, see what other horrible ones I can find. I'm gonna finally sit down and watch a Murray Christmas, I think, this year.
I hear it's not bad. That's what I hear.
I hear mixed things on it, and I wanted to check it out for myself. If it's bad, I can always wash it down with his version of Scrooge. But
that's not much better.
Let's get down with the news for this week. I want to hear what some of the news are. So let's kick it over to This Just In with Justin.
All right. So gather around, kids, and I'll tell you a tale of news. So, on the tale of everything that Last Jedi did to make it really complicated how they're going to write the ninth movie, J.J. Abrams just pitched the story for the new movie. Mm-hmm. So, I can only imagine the tangled web he had to weave through, just like, so we have to resolve this plot's gone now, this, I don't even know what to do with this one.
To be fair, that's probably true about any Star Wars movie.
Well, yeah, this one, they blew up so much of the running plot threads, I thought, like, oh, well, it's just the bad guys versus the good guys now.
No, seriously, like, that's the last thing left. There's, like, 2 dangling plot threads and then the main plot. That's the only thing to resolve, because Poe really has no arc anymore. Finn, they don't know what to do with him. Rey, they've kind of resolved her for dramatic tension, except for the one big main thing. And that's about it, really. I don't know. Is there anything I'm missing there?
Well, there is the point where I think Finn is supposed to be a little bit more of the heroic person. I think the real problem is that I think Poe was supposed to die in Force Awakens. So
he begged J.J. Abrams to not kill him off in that movie.
Yeah, which I first thought was really good because I really did like his character in Force Awakens, but they split his Finn's role into 2 for the Last Jedi, which is why they both learn basically the same lesson by the end of it.
No, and if they had actually put them together, because apparently Rian Johnson did say Poe and Finn were supposed to go on that mission together, but he's like, oh, the dialogue was so bland, it could have been any person and any person, so I decided to change it up with a lady. And I'm like, wow. Honestly, that would have been better if you had both of them, because at least...
Are you telling me there wasn't any sexual tension with Poe and Finn? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it's like, at least...
Shit.
Even outside of the gay jokes, they actually had some genuine chemistry as actors. I never once believed that Rose and Finn had any chemistry with each other as performers.
Well, that's why even in the scene, it's just like, everyone's surprised. Even the actors are surprised at what's happening.
It's just like, wait, what?
No, and the funny thing was, okay, I'll admit, I was texting in the theater when I was watching Last Jedi, and I was in the corner of the theater, so I couldn't distract anybody. Because I had to just...
That's what they all say.
I had to live stream pretty much to my friend what I was watching. And that moment, I actually missed that moment. I didn't see it at first. Someone had to tell me afterwards, like, wait, they freaking kissed? What? But anyways, moving on, going past Star Wars now, going up to the other big Star franchise, Star Trek. So, we talked about how that Quentin Tarantino Star Trek is happening. They had a meeting, they talked about it, they got all the stuff together, and they just hired a new writer, which, surprisingly, Tarantino not writing the script himself. Okay. But the guy's name is Mark L. Smith, who previously wrote The Revenant, and then he also wrote that little movie The Hole that came out a few years back with Joe Johnson.
Oh, okay.
So, okay.
I did really like a lot of The Revenant. Yeah,
I mean, it's a very artsy-fartsy movie, but it's a really well-done artsy-fartsy movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Phone for you, Nick. Sorry. Anyway, so let's see here. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Blood is confirmed to return as Lance Hunter this season.
Cool, I love Nick Blood.
Yeah.
I love any actor whose actual name is badasser than his spy name.
That's the thing. Is like I had to look it up to make sure. I'm like, so wait, is Nick Blood playing Lance Hunter, or is Lance Hunter playing Nick Blood?
No, because it's like Lance Hunter is all right. It's a pretty standard spy name, but Nick Blood is like awesome. Like I want to, like who should we like? I want to. If you were to hire a spy, would you hire Lance Hunter or Nick Blood? You'd hire Nick Blood every time. Like that.
I guess it depends on the type of job you're hiring them for.
Is that spy rules now?
I guess Nick Blood does sound more like an assassin.
the greatest sharpshooter in the world, Nick Blood. That'd be amazing.
Is now being hunted by
everyone.
Lance Hunter.
Well, apparently, that spinoff totally failed. They were going to be in, so hey, why not bring him back in?
Yeah, that totally sucked. It lost us Adrian Padalecki as Mockingbird, which sucked.
Didn't she come back this last season or so, or is she?
I don't know. I'm not caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all.
Oh no, she's on that new Seth MacFarlane show. Okay.
Yeah, she's on the Orville.
Yeah. Michelle Williams is confirmed to play Anne Weying in Venom. So I'm assuming Anne Weying is the girlfriend of Venom's or Eddie Brock.
Who the hell is Anne Weying? What?
I don't know. Okay, so Michelle Williams has been rumored to be in the Venom movie, and now she's officially confirmed. So I think Anne is one of Eddie Brock's girlfriends, or his main girlfriend he ever had in the series.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Did he eat her?
I don't know. I'm still not convinced this is I'm pretty convinced this is not a good idea in the first place to make a Venom movie.
No.
So. Really? The fact that they were going to use the Lethal Protector and the Planet of the Symbiote storylines as their main influence, that didn't tip you off?
Well, no, the fact that technically Venom doesn't exist without Spider-Man. That's what threw me off too. So it's like that's already a bad idea from the get-go if you're thinking on that logic.
No, in this universe, Venom creates Spider-Man.
Anyway, so there's been some casting on the Shazam movie, which, hey, cool. I'm interested. I like Shazam as a character idea. And one is Faith Herman, who is one of the characters from This Is Us. So cool. And I think she's one of the younger actresses from there, so she's playing another friend of Billy Batson. But the one that got me interested is Cooper Andrews, who is, if you're watching Walking Dead right now, he's the big chubby Asian dude who's the right-hand man of Ezekiel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's also on *Halt and Catch Fire*, so he's joined the cast as unspecified role. So that's cool, getting a couple, recognizable character actors for this stuff.
Indeed.
Okay. Then there's the Watchmen TV series that will start its pilot in March 2018. So there's no news on casting. Really? Yeah, no, they're moving. They're moving ahead with this thing.
Man, that's moving fast.
They got everything set.
That project's moving faster than I thought.
Yeah, so it's only going to be the pilot, but I'm sure they're like, look, if you get the pilot done at this certain amount of time, we'll give you the green light for all the other episodes. So.
Oh, okay. I guess that gives them incentive to get to put a little fire under their ass. I'm still not convinced if the Watchmen is a story that can work outside of the comic format, but I'm interested. HBO a miniseries is a pretty good idea.
I think it's better than the movie would be.
Mm-hmm. Well, just more time. I mean, right. It would be better inherently just because it's more of a serialized format like comics are. So I think
Now the question though too is that they're going to tie it into are they going to tie it into the main DC universe? Because now there's the new comics like the Doomsday Clock or whatever, where they have new Rorschach and new characters who are tied to Watchmen.
Yeah, I think they'll hold off on that. I don't think they want to jump that gun real quick.
Just wouldn't make much
sense.
Stay
away from that.
But if if it gets popular enough, who knows? That does seem like I would not put it past them. I mean, they're trying to make how many Game of Thrones spin-offs or whatever, right?
Every character gets their own spin-off. Everyone.
You get a spin-off.
So I'm sure if it gets popular, they'll try and keep it going no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we also got a first look at Hawk and Dove, the new Titans TV show, and they look pretty intense. Let's just say that.
Getting a little Arrowverse up in here.
Yeah, which I mean, they're trying to stick to as classic of designs as they can. Like we saw that Robin image for Titans, and then this one, they're really trying to stay true to form, because I'm sure there's all the complaints like, well, they change all the costumes in these TV shows. It's like, okay, here's as close to the original costumes we can make it. So, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen any of them in motion yet, but from what I've seen of the costumes we've seen Robin and Hawk and Dove, I think, are the only ones we've seen. They look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I like how they look, at least.
Is anyone really gonna complain if they change something about Hawk and Dove?
I don't know. I don't think anyone would really care.
Like,
I'm surprised they have Hawk and Dove.
Right?
Like,
I know.
not
I'm more trying to wrap my head around that they'd use Hawk and Dove in a Teen Titans show rather than, I don't know, anybody else. It's probably because their powers aren't too hard to simulate. Like, they have like super strength and like super agility, and they're basically like Captain America level like powers, you know.
Casting by budgetary decisions.
Oh yeah. I mean, Starfire is going to be like their main. Starfire is going to be their Firestorm, where like
You're just too expensive now. Sorry.
I only can show up once every episode or so.
Well, no, you think about it, because Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire have pretty big powers, so they're going to be hard to animate. I mean, there'll be a price tag for all three of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, expect some okay to not so great CG in that one, I think.
Yeah. But also, Krypton, that series that nobody asked for, but they really want us to like, is going to premiere March 2018. So.
All right, well, let's...
I actually think I'd rather watch the Watchmen one.
Let's see here, guys. What do you got for us? I mean, we're still really... I think they're just really going like, well, people like Smallville, no matter how bad that got. I mean, they've got to watch Krypton, right?
Yeah. What's that joke that Patton Oswalt made about, hey, you wanted to see where Angelina Jolie's origins come from? Okay, here's a picture of John Voight's balls.
Voight's balls. Hey, do you like ice cream? Here's a bag of rock salt. Well, you see, what you do is you take the rock salt and you crush it up like, don't tell me where the stuff I love comes from. I just love the stuff that I love.
Yeah. So then the It director's cut is happening, and it will release sometime after the theatrical cut comes out for home release. So it's not specified, but sometime in 2018 we'll see the added scenes for that movie. Which, cool.
I'm very excited for that. I can't wait for more, hopefully more child murder. Even they squeezed a little bit more in there.
Every last drop.
I'm a surprisingly big fan of it.
Yeah, squeeze a little more child blood out of that rock.
Yeah, but I'm actually, that might be one I actually get up. I don't get too many things on Blu-ray and DVD anymore, but that might be one of them. I really did enjoy the It film.
It was pretty good.
I loved it. Yeah, it was really good. Also, something that's interesting, so that new Halloween movie is still moving forward with David Gordon Green and Danny McBride in charge. And they've been doing a lot of legacy casting, like, they got Jamie Lee Curtis come back and that stuff. And now the other biggest surprise is Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers, is going to reprise his role for the new movie.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that.
So right, is this a reboot, remake? Which is this? What one is this?
It's technically a sequel, but it discounts all the other films after one as canon.
Okay.
You know, a requel.
Sure. That's a new word.
We're coming up with all different types of sequels and reboots, so why not? Also, the Artemis Fowl movie is moving forward with, we talked about it, I think, on Breakfast Pub, where there was new casting for it. And sure enough, Judi Dench is confirmed to be playing a role. I don't know if they specified which one, but Josh Gad has also joined the cast. And then they picked a newcomer for the lead role of Artemis Fowl. Their name is Verdia Shaw. That's what... Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. You want a new, younger actor for Artemis. Judi Dench, I bet you, will be Holly. Though, because Holly can be really any age or anything. She's like this ancient kind of,
ambiguous.
She's gonna be a CG character anyway, so I bet you they can just get Judi Dench to voice her.
I mean, she's the smallest an elf anyways, so...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to think of many other main female characters Judi Dench could be, and I'm not getting many of them until the sequel books.
Oh, yeah. Well, then also Josh Gad, who would he play?
I don't know. Josh Gad would have to be one of probably the dorky elves that get, he might be one of the ones that Root has to, get into line as they make the assault on Artemis's manor.
Possible.
It's been a while since I've read the books, but I remember one very, very well, because it's basically supervillain. It's Die Hard. Only the main character is Hans Gruber. Yeah. He's like this. Is a 12-year-old Hans Gruber in his own house with a giant butler fighting fairies. Okay, so it's not an exact parallel, but
a little off.
So it's kind of Home Alone and Die Hard mixed together.
Well, no, it's not even like Home Alone would be doing a discredit. This guy would not lower himself to be throwing paint cans around. Like,
No, you just straight up murder.
please, that's ridiculous.
Oh boy.
I just get my butler to take care of them.
So, Andy Serkis has decided that he really, really doesn't want to be associated with the Jungle Book movie that already came out. So his new movie is being called Mowgli. Yes, Andy Serkis is directing a new Jungle Book movie because he doesn't get the hint that maybe once was good enough.
Well, I thought like he might have been, like, shit, I thought Disney's wasn't going to be that good. Because normally their live action remakes of their previous movies aren't all that great.
No. But Jungle Book is really good.
And Jungle Book was kind of an outlier. Like, it was like, God damn, that one actually did work.
I mean, when Jon Favreau's on his game, he's on his game, and the effect work in that Jungle Book was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. No, the way that they had the CG with the animals talking, it was like, God damn, this is fucking impressive. And I don't know, I mean, Andy Serkis does know his way around mocap. I'll give him that.
But what can he do that's better than what we already saw?
I don't know, dude. Like, how are we supposed to listen to Shere Khan and not compare him to Idris Elba now?
Right? You don't want that comparison.
Like, that's all I'm going to be hearing.
Oh, that would be interesting. A couple of quick things, too. We talked about the Oscars. I have my podcast, Eye on the Prize, on oneofus.net. Please listen. It's really, really fun. They came out with a short list for visual effects, and, the big ones, it's mostly what I expected. Last Jedi, Blade Runner, War on the Planet of the Apes, Okja, and a bunch of big, heavy hitters. Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty cool. The big surprise, though, that kind of shocked me is that they released the makeup short list. The people were eligible for that. And the one film that should have been a shoo-in, The Shape of Water, is not eligible.
Really? Why not?
I don't know why. I don't know how. No one knows. Everyone's shocked. It's like, wait, this film that builds itself on the main makeup design of the giant creature, somehow that's not better than Bright, that Netflix movie that's coming out. Because that one is an eligible nominee, not The Shape of Water.
Why? Okay, well, I'll admit I don't know what the criteria are, other than it has to be a theatrically released film.
But Shape of Water is.
Yeah, so I'm like, I know that's a requirement. I'd have to look it up, but that sounds super weird.
That's like, I've seen the trailers of that movie, and I'm like, no, that should probably win.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll talk about it more in depth in our podcast episode we're recording tomorrow. So
yeah, okay.
That'll be fun. So, hey, more Oscar Isaac stuff. Star Wars is everywhere on this list. He's going to play Gomez in the new Addams Family movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's an animated film, and I want to say it's Sony. I don't think so, but it's a new Addams Family animated movie coming out in fall 2019, and he's, if not officially cast, he's the most in talks right now to play the role.
Man, I'm kind of into that.
That's amazing, actually.
Normally I would say, like, the Addams Family movies, maybe we shouldn't remake them, but you know what? They haven't really made I actually like both the Addams Family movies.
No, they're pretty good.
Actually, I find them very enjoyable to kick on every once in a while. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited for that.
Oh, yeah, they look nice. But, also, speaking of that Bright movie, they already greenlit a sequel, which apparently may have been a little bit too early to call because reviews have not been kind to that movie yet. So, I mean, some of the reviews do seem a little bit hyperbolic, just like the whole Suicide Squad sucks, David Ayers sucks, Max Landis sucks, Will Smith sucks. It's like, okay, I don't know if I should watch it for myself because I don't know which side I'll agree. Like, again, I can't trust reviews early on now after watching Last Jedi. So I'm just worried.
I mean, Suicide Squad, when I watched David Ayer, and I know that was it was also written by David Ayer too, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So no, it's not his writing, but Max Landis is not much better.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm like, come on, some of the writing in there is like, come on, guys, you could have at least tried a little harder.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, David Ayer has done some good movies, like End of Watch.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
David Ayer did fucking Training Day. He did.
Oh, he wrote it.
He wrote it. Didn't he also do Fury?
Yes, he did.
And
Fury's pretty good.
He should be the guy. He should have been the guy to make him. If I was making a movie about superheroes that are a bunch of douchebags going on a mission to complete a goal, but I ended up wanting to be, and I needed to be invested in their mission, I would get the guy that made Fury, because Fury is what Suicide Squad should be, about a bunch of douchebags doing a mission that is important, but but they're all horrible.
And it's just kind of a fucked up training day.
Yeah,
and Fury wasn't even great either. But yeah, it should have been an easy, success for him. It shouldn't have been that hard.
On paper, it's a match made in heaven, and I don't know what happened. But you know what? I do know what happened, and it's WB, and they got in there and probably had some mandates or whatever. So
yeah, W just doesn't know what to do with their stuff. But okay, so and one of the weirder stories to come out this week. So they are moving forward with that Lord of the Rings series on Amazon, and Ian McKellen totally was just like, "Look, dude." There's no reason why I can't be in this series. Gandalf is like 7,000 years old. I'm pretty young as it is. So please, if you do this thing, I will play Gandalf. No questions asked. Just call my number.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, Ian McKellen was looking really old in The Hobbit. So
yeah, I don't care.
Do you want an
even Gandalf
older
as much as he wants?
Yeah, like I'm just saying though, like, do you want an even older Ian McKellen in the prequel series that takes place before both of those?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
It's magic.
He's Benjamin Button. He ages in reverse.
Yeah, he's just a vampire. Had to suck some blood. It's fine.
Yeah, if you ever slayed a Balrog and bathed in its blood, it does wonders for your skin. It's great.
I'm just amazed, exfoliates
the pores like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, there's no reason to believe Gandalf is in the story, but hey, at least now they have an excuse saying, well, we got easy casting. He says he will do it. So.
Yeah, now Legolas will show up too.
Oh no, not more than a
you shall not pass joke in there, but it's not coming to me. All right.
Anyway, so we have our first casting for Amazon's adaptation of The Boys as well. That crazy gonzo comic book by is it Garth Ennis or is it Mark Millar?
It's Garth Ennis.
Garth Ennis. They kind of blend together for me. But so the first person to join is a girl named Erin Moriarty, who, if I remember, she was the early victim of the Purple Man in Jessica Jones. You know, that young blonde girl.
Oh yeah. Hope.
Yeah, at least that's the image. That's the image that Hope. That's right. Yeah, she's the one I see here on the article. But she's been cast as Starlight in the new series. So, if you know. That
yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's a pretty good role for her too. It's a smaller role, so will help her cut her teeth on it. At least in the comic book, it's a little smaller.
Yeah, I see something involving torn off faces here because they're showing images of the boys. I'm just like, okay, I get. If Happy is an indication that they're not afraid to have super graphic comic book stuff on TV, I'm sure the boys will be all kinds of messed up.
Yeah, you might want to have a strong stomach if you're going to try and watch the boys. Like there's a lot of messed up stuff that happens.
Oh yeah, I'm just curious if they're going to do the Simon Pegg casting, but probably not. But anyway. Narcos has just announced 2 new lead characters because apparently Pedro Pascal is not returning for season 4. I don't know if it's.
I do like him on that show.
Yeah, I think it's either a scheduling conflict. Like, I don't think they're going to kill him off, but they're also changing the setting to Mexico. So in response to that, they just cast Diego Luna and Michael Pena as the new lead characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got 2 of the best Latino actors working in Hollywood right now. So
Jesus, they just go more and more dangerous in that show, don't they? We're going to deal with the Mexican cartel now. Well,
and even sadder just because you remember that story that we talked about, like, I don't know, several Breakfast Clubs ago where they had one of their location scouts shot in Mexico.
Yes. I remember that. That was sad.
Yeah, so I'm just like, it just seems like it's going to be dangerous all around, both in plot, reality and in fiction, too. So, going from there, there's very little said about this one here, but Apple is getting into the TV game because they just gave a straight-to-series order for a new TV sci-fi series from Ronald D. Moore, the guy behind Battlestar Galactica. So,
okay.
Again, there's not much we know, but it's like, hey, that's cool. He's got something new coming out of him, so let's see what's going on there.
We'll just hope it has a better ending than Battlestar. So,
anyway, then there's a new spin-off for What We Do in the Shadows that's going to premiere first in New Zealand called Wellington Paranormal.
Oh, okay. I thought it was wait, wasn't there one coming out with werewolves?
No, that one is in development too still, but this is going to be the first one. I guess they just had a bigger, bigger support for the show. But yeah, so it's going to debut next year in New Zealand, and then it will make its U.S. debut right after the words.
Oh, okay, cool. I was excited for werewolves because of the names.
Because you're terrible.
Come on, it's awesome. Like, how has that not been done before? That's great.
Kind of surprising.
In one of 2 very baffling decisions by NBC this week, they want to revive The Office.
What is that?
So they want to revive The Office. Apparently,
geez,
How is
really?
that baffling?
well, it's a dumb idea because
Yeah,
look,
that's
they
why
ended
it's
The
not
Office.
baffling.
Like, well, wasn't it losing ratings by the time they by the time it finally ended?
I mean, I'm on the crowd that said that it started to get really sucky in season 5. But yeah, it was about time they needed to end. They ended it on about as good as note as they could after all the damage they did to the show. But now they're like, well, we really like this show, so we're putting things in development to get it done for the 2018-2019 season. So they're just fast-tracking this without any thought, just like, oh, it should be that hard. We just get a couple cheap cameras and a couple actors who will work for scale. And apparently a lot of the actors from The Office are not happy about this, including Angela, Angela Kinsey, who played that character, where she's like, yeah, I heard nothing about this. I'm not working right now, so if you guys are actually serious about this, it would seem dumb not to call me and a bunch of the other people from the cast. But this just sounds like a bad idea, really.
We'll show you. We're NBC. We invented dumb.
They kind of did. Like,
NBC has good shows. I mean, This Is Us is one of the top rated shows in the country. So, but yeah.
but for every
and
good
also,
show
as
they
if
make,
they didn't learn the lesson, they're going to do another remake of the IT Crowd because the first one failed spectacularly, but that won't stop them.
never does.
Man, there's a producer over there that really likes the IT Crowd.
Yeah.
It's like, no, guys, it's gonna totally work. It's gonna totally work, man.
It's gonna be good this time.
Also, ABC's revival of Roseanne will premiere March 27th, 2018. So,
That's
hey, for all you
interesting.
fans out there who still care, yeah.
I mean, Roseanne was a funny show, but
No, it's a great show, and it's John Goodman. You know, and also apparently they got the entire cast to come back for this.
Yeah, I saw that
every
one.
single person who was. Yeah, I'm amazed by that. That's really really cool. Going down here. That sci-fi show Van Helsing got renewed for a 3rd season. Not that anyone really cares.
Actually, you know what? I actually
and
ended
also-
up watching the first season of that.
oh, that's right. I remember you watching that.
Yep. It's not very good.
No.
Surprising no one, but it was another show I kept on in the background from editing, and even by the end of the first season, I'm like, wow, this was really dumb.
Yeah, and even dumber is Z Nation, which has been renewed for season 5. So,
I didn't even realize that show had 4 seasons to begin with.
right? But what is it with keeping these really terrible TV shows alive? Like, there's some crazy fan. Like, even when I went to Salt Lake Comic Con 2 years ago, there was an entire panel and several booths for the cast of Z Nation there. And I'm like,
Wow.
Why?
is there that much a fan base for this show?
I don't know, for a show that I only ever hear every once in a while that it's even on, it does seem like it has a pretty strong fan base. Then again, maybe they just don't need as much ratings. It's on the Sci-Fi Channel, right?
Yeah, so I doubt they need to justify it with a big crowd. So,
Yeah, they just need
it's not.
enough people to watch it. They don't need Walking Dead numbers.
No. So, you remember that Dirk Gently hosted detective agency show? You know, that kind of quirky show. People either really, really like it, really, really don't like it.
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah. It got canceled. So,
Well, some
only
people
2
are going to be pretty
seasons.
upset about that, I think.
Well, I know Chris Cox is because he was a huge fan of that one. But yeah, apparently it's just too weird, and I get that. It's not really based on the book at all. They just took the title and the basic premise, and they just said, you know what, that's all we need.
Good enough.
Go. Yeah, and so I mean, I'm surprised they made it to a 2nd season, but it had a good run. So there's a Galaga animated series happening. Yes, that is true.
Galaga!
You did not miss. And in a weird decision, it's going to be completely interactive. I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
But apparently it's going to be an interactive TV show.
So you mean when I'm shouting out the screen, it's actually going to do something? Awesome.
Well, see, if you take the Galaga and you actually hook up your controller, you actually shoot the ships and go and play it until the last level. You're just describing a video game. It's a fucking interactive TV show.
I mean, what? Is it designed by Telltale? You know, it's just interactive television, but as a video game.
I guess.
So,
Except that's still...
All right. Well, we are running low on time here.
Sorry. I have one
more.
One last story.
Okay.
Yeah. Sad story. The original voice of Daphne died from Scooby Doo, Heather North.
I did hear about that. Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
I would say a traditional quote from Daphne, but I just don't remember a lot of her dialogue. It was basically just Jeepers, like that was it. Wasn't that Velma's thing?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
No, hers was Jinkies, I think.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Velma was
I don't even know-
Jinkies and Daphne was Jeepers.
Yeah. But apparently, what's his name? The guy who plays Fred will never die because that dude is still actively working in everything, cartoon related these days.
Death keeps trying to come for him, and he just keeps making more elaborate traps.
Yeah,
That
but seriously,
always fail,
that
but
dude has
somehow
voiced Fred for like 50 years, and they still let him play Fred because he's the only guy who sounds like Fred.
He still sounds exactly like him. Like, it sounds like he hasn't aged it. Like, if you ever watch the new episodes of Scooby-Doo and the old episodes of Scooby-Doo, it's like, god damn, how is that voice the fucking same?
Takes really good care of himself, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, that dude has a range unlike any other actor. Like, he can do Fred, he can do deep voice character, he can do like freaking what's his name, Slimer from the Ghostbusters cartoon. Just wow. Okay, so it's very sad for Heather North, but apparently, yeah, Fred will live forever. There you go. And that's about all I need to say. So we're done.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for the news, Justin. We are going to take a small musical break, and then we'll be back with the Arrowverse reviews right after this. Merry Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas!
And welcome to the UGO podcast, guys. Christmas tidings to everyone. And it just wouldn't be Christmas without superheroes. At least that's how it is in our house. That's our Christmas tradition. And while Travis is unfortunately not caught up with the Arrowverse with me, I have brought in a couple ringers. You've heard them before. You'll hear them again, on and on, as long as there are superheroes on TV, which is forever now. We have, first up, Zack, of the independent comic series Super, that I'm a super fan of. Zack, say hi to the people.
Hi, how's it going?
And Zack, you have a new project in the works right now. Would you like to mention that?
Oh yeah, that's right. We just successfully over crowdfunded by a wide margin our new post-apocalyptic Western series, The Surgeon. We just got it printed. We actually literally just got the copies in today. They look fantastic, and they're going to be available on January 3rd, so you should totally check it out.
Hey guys, it looks super awesome. It's a post-apocalyptic Western. It's got a badass chick with like a sword on it. Like, it's great. It's got a horse that scares the ever-living shit out of me.
Yeah, it's a very mean horse. Yeah, everybody comments on the horse.
What more could you ask for?
It's sort of like Mad Max meets Yojimbo meets High Plains Drifter with a little bit of Fallout thrown in.
I can only get so erect. All right? Calm it down, my friend. You can't say that many buzzwords in a row.
Dude, I'm super excited. The Kickstarter rewards are out. I can't wait for my map and my cool patch, the book.
And who the fuck is that? Who's that lovely voice right there? I believe that is one of those rare breed, the Otobros.
Yeah! You got it right!
It's Christmas time, Ed. I thought it would be a great Christmas gift that I actually pronounce your podcast's name right. Don't get used to it.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to try and make it my New Year's resolution to always refer to it as Otobros from now on. But that's Otobro Ed. Say hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed. How is everyone doing tonight?
Ed, would you like to tell the people about your little shindig, your little podcast going on with the Otobros?
Sure. Yeah, I'm part of the Otobros podcast. We are a weekly anime podcast, talk about current anime, past anime, news in the anime world and such. We are now doing live streams on that thing Twitch. That's kind of fancy. Everyone gets to see our faces. It's super embarrassing, but we're kawaii, so it's cool.
Did we?
Did I kill Nick?
You may have killed Nick.
Can you guys hear me?
Now again.
Now we can.
All right, I think I had a disconnected cable.
How was the dip in the Lazarus pit? You were dead for a little bit there.
I was just a little. I had the little case of death, but don't worry, we had the Lazarus pit /
It was that high Ed pun, wasn't it? Because that almost killed me.
Luckily, I had some Mirakuru on hand to just throw in there.
Don't even get me started on Mirakuru. Like, I wanted Mirakuru this season. I thought I was getting Mirakuru.
Okay, but yeah, we should probably start talking about the Arrowverse. I'm always I guess
Ed wants to start with Arrow. Apparently, he has a point to pick with Arrow.
It is the Arrowverse after all.
I did feel like this season was a lot of shakeups for I don't know what you call it, the first half of the season but the last half of 2017. I don't know. It's the season 6 of Arrow, season 4 is it season 3 of the Flash? Season 4 of the Flash.
4.
It's season 4 of the Flash.
3 of
3.
Supergirl and Legends, I believe.
Oh my god, it's so hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
Dude, I can't believe Arrow's on 6 right now. It's like on paper, it's baffling.
Hey, I tell you what. Now we're speaking of baffling. Why don't we just talk about Arrow for a minute? So Arrow this season, after blowing up the island last season. Oh yeah, by the way, this is gonna be a big kind of a spoiler review for everything that's happening this mid-season, guys. We're gonna try and keep it, pretty kind of spoiler light in the beginning, but we will be talking about, the big finale stuff later and the big crossover.
Arrow, you can't even help it. Literally, the first 10 minutes.
Yo.
Like based on if you only saw the finale
mad.
last year, like literally everything after the first 10 minutes is a spoiler. So
I am so mad about that.
So Arrow has done some interesting stuff this season. The first episode, for me, I don't know about you guys, for me it was just like, oh my god, this is going to be the worst season ever. Which
I wasn't super impressed with the opener either. Yeah,
no.
I was really annoyed that I mean, I knew they weren't going to keep it. Like, I'm pretty sure I said it when we talked about it last time that, like, nobody of importance is dead. The island is fine. Everyone's fine, and they're going to undo it. But I didn't think they were going to undo it in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I really did not think that, like, everyone was just going to walk into the Arrow Cave and just be like, well, we're fine. That's
why I was so mad. Like, They did end it on a huge cliffhanger, and Arrow had the weakest trailer out of any of the shows because they didn't want to spoil anything. And literally, like you said, there was no repercussion except the new character, the mom character that no one cared about, that just got introduced.
Does she count as a character? Really, her and that damn kid? Like, are they characters? They're just
plot devices. They're plot devices that every once in a while speak.
Yeah,
Sorry.
They killed a plot device and they put Thea in a coma because I guess she has like other things to do for most of the season. Like,
oh my god.
So yeah, they decided to make Ollie a single dad, which is awful. Like it's not.
If anything, I'm okay with him being the single dad figure because we had an awesome Slade and Ollie team up episode.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
That part was cool. But did you like how they brought back the Russian off-brand Alfred that was in the pilot episode of the whole series? They brought her out of mothballs to watch the kid.
I did not even recognize her. That's who she was?
Yeah, Rosa or Rosita or something like that.
It was their nanny.
Yeah, it was Oliver's Alfred from the pilot that they got rid of because they were like, wow, okay, yeah, she's just Alfred. We can't do that,
Shocking.
And they pulled her out of mothballs to watch the kid. I was like, wow, they are digging deep.
Continuity for you.
So yeah, the kid William, he gets better acting wise as the show goes along, but overall,
I think it's the third kid who's played him, so they had to get one who didn't suck eventually.
Overall, he's still a pretty bad addition to the show, in my opinion. I'm not I mean, the only thing he introduces is a neat element where Arrow doesn't want to be Arrow anymore, where he's trying to push it off onto Diggle. And
that's one of the positives, actually.
Yeah.
I really like Diggle's arc in this. The Diggle-centric part of the season is actually pretty cool. And I like the idea of Diggle being the Green Arrow. Like, I thought that was really good, and then when they didn't drop it exactly, but I didn't feel like they explored it enough before they were like, Green Arrow again.
And this is why I thought I was going to get Mirakuru. Like, when I first saw him, like, pump himself up in the alleyway, I'm like, did he just inject himself with Mirakuru? Are we going to have Super Mirakuru Raged Diggle? That would be awesome.
Did they ever actually say what it was he was taking?
Yeah, it was just some type of experimental drug thingy.
From the guy who is purportedly Richard Dragon, who is so un-Richard Dragon-like, I didn't even know it was him for like 4 episodes. Like, somebody just said it to me, like, oh, that's Richard Dragon. I was like, what? No,
Yeah,
it isn't.
It's just a plot device for their like thing they do in the finale, which
And having Richard Dragon on Arrow would be cool because he's basically like supervillain Chuck Norris. Like that would be fine. But this guy, he's just like an extra from The Sopranos. I think the actor actually was on The Sopranos. I can't confirm that, but he's just this generic mobster dude. Like I was like, do you even know kung fu? Like this isn't right. Like
So yeah, to Zach's point, I do like the element of Diggle becoming Arrow. I think that's actually a good element, and that's because Ollie doesn't want to, since he's a dad now. He wants to be responsible for the kid. He wants to settle down with Felicity. It seems like. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I buy this. I can get this. I can get behind this. I mean,
also,
as funny as it is, having Oliver a little less like the focus in his own show was actually a good call.
yes, I was just about to say that.
I want to point out something real quick. I like how I feel they heard the dislike of who Diggle faced or Diggle's whole thing in the Dominator crossover because they had to mention, it's like, well, when we were in the Dominator's grasp, I wanted to be you. I didn't realize I wanted that until then.
Yeah.
Well, the writers didn't realize it either, I'm guessing.
Like, when he said that, I'm like, okay, way to make that justified, I guess.
Hey, continuity, Ed. You gotta keep it up.
Continuity.
It's funny, I didn't even think about it till they brought it up. Like, he had been the Green Arrow for like 3 episodes by the time they mentioned it, and he's like, I didn't even know that's what I wanted. And I'm like, yeah, nobody knew that's what you wanted, because you literally never mentioned it before.
So some of the other characters get to be in the focus now that Ollie's taking a little bit of a break. It gives us a chance to miss Oliver as the Green Arrow too, so when he pops back up, we kind of get a kick out of it. Overall, I think that was a pretty good idea.
Yeah, that's true. That when he actually does put the suit on, either in the last episode or the second to last episode, you're like, "Oh, cool! Finally, he's back." Like, it does feel good. I will admit that.
Yeah, we get a focus on some of the new characters. Well, not new characters, but the newbie team.
Newer
with Wild
Mr.
Dog,
Terrific.
Mr. Terrific, and what's it, Black
New
Canary?
Black Canary.
Yeah. So Canary gets a little, at least some screen time in this season. Like, still, she's like the least developed character, but she gets at least some stuff into dealing with the vigilante.
It's not even that she's not developed. Like, she's a fine character. Like, I like her. She's good, in and out of the costume. But the problem is she just has this big ticking clock stamped into her forehead that just says temporary on her,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, all the
cannot
movie
shake
squad
the
feels
feeling.
like they have that stamp.
Well, I mean, like Mr. Terrific, you don't feel like somebody's just going to fire him and start being Mr. Terrific. I feel like that's how it is with the Black Canary, that at some point she's just not going to be the Black Canary anymore. And in fact, I very much believe evil Laurel is going to face turn and become good Laurel and then become, like, hands in quotation marks, the proper Black Canary, because she actually has the powers now and stuff. That's where I thought this has been going for a while. But somehow, some way, Dinah's going to stop being the Black Canary. They cannot tell me on the she's a permanent fixture.
Yeah, they changed up Wild Dog's costume for little to no reason, which...
Upgrade.
I actually liked it. I thought his new costume looked good. I just think it looks a little bit too much like Slade's.
It's because he has all that armor. Like, he actually has protection now.
Well, they only know how to make one kind of superhero costume in this show. Yeah, he's going to look like somebody, but I mean,
I think
thought it was
Cisco's going to
decent-
take offense to that.
Cisco can take as much offense to it as he wants. Like, I'm going to agree with Zach is that there's only 2 different types of costumes in this show.
Yeah, exactly. There's hoodies and leather and sportsman armor. Like,
So
I just robbed a Dick's Sporting Goods.
That's kind of what I liked about. That's kind of what I liked about Wild Dog's costume, though. It was so accurate to the comics, and it did look like discount, Casey Jones Punisher style.
Yeah, he really was Casey Jones. I did love that about him. But I think also, like, it's like, okay, he's been doing this for a year. I feel like someone would be like, dude, put on a freaking bulletproof vest, please. Like, I feel like someone would make him do that, so I'm okay with it. I just wish the colors were more pronounced. Like, he's red and blue, so he should have more red and blue on his costume. It's just like a little bit on his shoulders.
But the whole point of vigilancing at night is to not be seen, so the bright colors would be, like, counterintuitive to that. Like, it's just, like, realistic, man. Like, yeah.
Because, green
Ed, I can
is
hear
super-
you pushing the glasses up onto your nose when you say that.
Thank you. I was going for that.
Yeah, guy's called the Green Arrow. I think we're past, at that point,
So, we talked about some of the elements that were working for Arrow, which I do feel like this season is better than some of the other ones. But let's talk about some stuff. Hey, let's talk about the secrets that the team are keeping from each other for no explicable reason. My favorite segment of the show. There's a couple of them this season. There's Quentin and Quentin and Black Canary have kept a secret that they killed Doppelganger Laurel in the beginning. Only they didn't. And I'm like, why is that a secret to keep from everyone?
Why was that a secret at all? What was the big deal that like everyone needed to think she was dead and that they killed her?
I'm like, but why? Like, and then Diggle has a secret of like, I had nerve damage in my arm, so I can't shoot straight anymore, putting the team in danger. And I'm like, but why don't you just tell the team that? Like, and that
was so unclear too. I thought he had like PTSD for the first couple episodes. Like they that was so unclear what was wrong with him. And then when he told you, you're like, well, why the hell wouldn't you say anything about that? Like, what's embarrassing?
He was about to, but then Oliver asked him to be the Green Arrow. God, it's right there.
To be fair, guys, it's not like anyone on the team developed someone else a robo spine that helped them clear that day.
Like, I think they even bring that up later. That it's like, we cured Felicity's, paraplegia. I think we could do something about your fingers, bro.
Yeah, and I do love that the Arrow is like, Arrow, just because you brought up that it was stupid doesn't keep it from being stupid the last 5 episodes.
Yes, exactly. Pointing out something is stupid, it does not fix it from being stupid.
So, I'm so frustrated with Arrow because I'm like, okay, I have to admit that they made some changes that I like and that some of the stuff is better now, but they can't shake the core of this show, which is the conflicts come from the characters being really dumb and not sharing stuff with one another, which just doesn't make sense in season 6. I'm like, look, it's been 6 years canonically these guys have been working together. I mean, at least Diggle
it's manufactured drama of the highest order. Like,
I just can't believe that Diggle would keep something like that from the crew. It doesn't make sense that he wouldn't say something that, especially when it's so easily fixable. Like
watching this show is like, it's like the friggin' Frogurt, the haunted Frogurt sketch from Simpsons. It's like they'll throw something at you and you're like, oh, the vigilante's still alive. That character wasn't wasted. That's good. Well, okay, actually he's bad and he's like working with Caden James and he's trying to make Black Canary betray the team. Well, that's bad.
That's bad.
And you're like, well, Diggle's the Green Arrow now. Oh, that's good.
Good.
He has nerve damage. And now
that's
he actually be the Green Arrow and has to quit. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, it's like every single thing is like that, like every decision they make, it's a good idea sandwiched between 2 bad ideas.
Yeah, it does feel kind of like 2 steps forwards, one step back. I don't know. I'm just frustrated with Arrow, especially with how often it repeats stuff. Like Oliver gets outed as the Arrow again this season, and even the show admits, like, yeah, we've been here before. So
yeah, the only thing that served was to acknowledge that Batman definitely exists in this universe. Like that was all that entire stuff did. Like the idea that they were like, I forget what it was called in the comics, but they're basically just stealing like a Daredevil storyline. I think it might have been called Born Again. And it's like where they outed him as Daredevil and like they just go through the same motions, but it's like they know that like, well, it's all going to get fixed at the end of the season. So we're not even going to bother trying to make this dramatic. Like they don't even care.
They have the FBI agent that's hunting him down for not really any reason. Like I'm going to get you and your vigilantes. Like, you do know that the vigilantes were the only thing keeping this city alive for the last 6 years, right?
How many alien invasions, evil wizards, armies of ninjas have they repelled? From taking over the world.
Don't forget good old-fashioned metas, man.
Yeah, it's the same. It's that Marvel X-Men problem, is that like a certain sect of superheroes are fine and others are like, oh, you're a mutant, so we hate you, but it makes no sense. Like, why would you be afraid of Wolverine but not the Incredible Hulk? You know,
it feels pretty selective.
And it's like that with this, is where people are like, oh, if you squat on rooftops and mutter to yourself about your dead family, you're a menace to society. But if you run around in daytime and punch criminals at 50 miles an hour, you're fine. You know?
Right.
Like, it's
So
very
skewing.
skewing.
So we talked about Arrow for a little bit now. So what are our overall feelings this season, and where does it rank, you think, out of all the shows? We'll start with you, Ed. Ed, what do you think?
I'm gonna say 2. It's on my second. I'm gonna rethink of that to make sure if I'm solid.
Like,
but
2 out of what? It's like how many?
Well, no,
stars?
out of all of them, it's my second favorite this season. It's ranked as 2.
Really? That's pretty high.
I enjoyed it. I
Okay.
definitely enjoyed it.
I would say that it's definitely better. It's still like the one that I take the longest to watch it when it's on the queue. I'm not up on the CW-ness of it, and I do get a little bored in some episodes still, so it's still on the bottom ranking for me. It's still number 4. But it's by no means the trudge that some of the previous seasons have been. What do you feel, Zach?
I'm kind of like, it's hit and miss. Like, some episodes I really enjoyed, and other episodes I'm like, this is stupid, you know? I don't know if we're circling back to talk about the finales later afterwards again, but I did want to mention the double cross, or the triple cross, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Let's talk about that finale for a minute. That finale was pretty bad.
That whole thing where it was like, one of you betrayed us, and it's like, well, Renee did it. Why? I don't know. He just did, but we forgive him. Oh, 5 minutes later, he did something way less bad than betraying us. Now we're firing him. Like, that whole dynamic was just like, I wanted to punch everyone on the screen at the time, that it was like, we fired you. No, we forgive you. Hey, wait, you tried to save, I forget even who he was trying to rescue. I think it was Quentin. And he makes a move to try and save him, and they're like, you weren't in position. You can't be trusted. You're fired, you know? And, like, I just didn't understand that at all. Like basically everyone quits the team for the sole purpose of having them not a team, so they have to reform in the back.
Well, I do love, like, why is he even on the team if he's testifying against Oliver? Like, yeah, but I'm still going to do my superhero thing. Like, well, why, you fucking asshole? Like,
and also isn't like him testifying against him and still doing it, isn't that like incriminating himself?
They said they gave him a deal that, like, they can, without a doubt, prove that he's Wild Dog and pretty much get him, and he never sees his daughter again. So they're like, but we don't want you. We want the Arrow. So testify to Arrow. You're good. You get your daughter back. But
it's still
Oliver goes down.
It is dumb. Like, no federal agency would be like, oh, and by the way, it's okay if you still want to put on that hockey mask and kick criminals in the nuts all night if you want. That's
or shoot
fine.
people, because we're still not sure how many people you kill.
Yeah, Wild Dog actually just straight up kills people. He just shoots them. Like, he doesn't even go for the leg. He just murders them.
On the team, he doesn't kill.
No, he really does. Like, the show may try to...
Every once in a while, they'll show, like, oh yeah, I was using suppressant bullets, and I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, they make sure that he says that every now and then.
Well, they like to show, like, all the guys on the ground groaning, like, oh, we're not dead, groaner. You know. The G.I.
And then,
Joe
of course,
net.
at the end we get the team up of some previous Arrow villains, showing that, like, aha, we were behind it the whole time. I was reading some of the AV Club reviews, and they made a great name for this team of villain, which they called the Legion of Whom, because they had to look up, like, who the fuck are these people again?
They were. Yeah,
I mean, like,
Siren. The vigilante there, he makes no sense at all. And
yeah, I'm like, okay, vigilante, I don't understand. Then there's, like, 2 other guys, and then there's the Rush, like, what was it, the Bratva guy. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, one of those other guys is Richard Dragon. He's so un-Richard Dragon-y, you don't even know he's there. You've seen him, like, 5 times in the season, but when he walks back in that room, you still are like, who are you?
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I was like, I don't know who that guy is. I was literally 2 episodes ago.
He should be called nondescript. He's other guy.
He's the other guy. Yeah, that was out of the finales, that was the most underwhelming finale out of all of them, I think.
No, it really wasn't. As bad as it was, it's not. And we
Oh
can get
no,
to
wait,
that
yeah, I'm
shortly,
forgetting
but-
about one of the other finales. Now that I think about it, I did like one
there
less.
is a worse finale than this
Yep.
one.
No, you're right. You're right.
No, but
Well-
that did leave a sour taste for sure.
But yeah, let's move on to our next show. What should we cover next here? How about we talk about Flash, the sister show?
Yeah.
So Flash this season, they caught some flack last season for being kind of a dour, mopey show. So they're trying to get back on track, being a little fun this season, introducing the elongated man, Ralph Dibny, which in my mind was a pretty good decision. Oh yeah, I love Ralph Dibny. I think he's a great addition.
He's
He's
okay.
the one good addition this season, honestly. Like this, I have strong feelings about this
Damn.
season.
Okay. Well, I didn't. I don't like it as much as say season 1 or whatever. I do think it's a marked improvement from season 3, which I found pretty mediocre overall. I do like that we have a thinker villain rather than a speedster villain. He's got the thinker as the main villain this time.
All right, I lied. Two good additions. Two good.
Let's see what else we have. We have Killer Frost as kind of a mainstay character now because Caitlin can switch back and forth now.
She has
via the
Hulk Iceman powers.
She has Hulk Iceman powers.
So stupid. So stupid.
We get
if
get
they
Harry...
want her to be Killer Frost, just do it. Like just commit to it. This like they are literally two different people, and she Incredible Hulk transforms between them and blacks out and doesn't know what the other one's doing. Like that is trash. That entire thing.
Zach is
no
like
way...
Breaking Bad, no half measures.
I have no way to gauge your powers. Gauge your powers one way or the other. Like they're so inconsistent.
Yeah, the rules change every episode. It's so dumb. And those goddamn cuffs, I will never, ever get over how stupid those cuffs are on every level. It's like, wait, so her powers make her evil, so the cuffs make her not evil? Wait, does that work on every power or just hers? Because why haven't you tried it on the other 30 or so odd supervillains you have in the fucking vault? Like, maybe they'll just turn good if you put the magic good guy cuffs on them, you assholes.
Yeah, they all have separate personalities. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is only Killer Frost the character that's like, I'm evil when I use my powers and no other time?
Oh,
Like,
don't forget about Magenta, the person who was introduced just to introduce that, like, fucking factor.
I completely forgot about Magenta.
I totally forgot about Magenta,
I consistently call Magneta, who I'm convinced that's what her name was until the minute they went
they had to say it out loud.
Because they were like, oh shit, we're going to get sued.
See, Wally goes on a walkabout for most of this season, so because we first come back, it's Vibe and him taking over Flash duties in the city, which is kind of fun.
That's
Wally got super shafted.
It really pissed me off right out of the gate because, okay, last season, just like Arrow, they make this big promise about a huge change in the status quo that, like, nothing can go back to the way it was after this, you know? And I knew, again, that it was, but I thought that they would at least let it breathe for a couple episodes before they just undid it, you know? And, like, I kind of was hoping that there would at least be a couple episodes where Wally was just the Flash, you know, like he was for 20 friggin' years in the comic, you know? Like, just give him a episodes where he can just be the Flash, but like no, they gave him 10 minutes. They gave him one scene where he was the Flash protecting the city, and then Barry comes back and he's like, well, thanks, but I guess you can wait in limbo with the Huntress and Sin and all the other side characters in Second Banana Heaven. You know, like
I like the addition of like I at first Wally. I thought he was going to go over to Legends of Tomorrow or something because I'm like, oh, he's going to go over to another show. That's why he's not in this show or something.
Well, I believe he's going to end up on the Titans, though there has no official announcement about that yet. I feel like that's what they're going to do.
That'd be cool. I could dig that.
And he seems to kind of reference it, like when he goes away for a couple episodes and then he comes back, he seems to reference having some amazing adventure fighting Starro. You know,
I'm
just like, okay, that's probably the Titans pilot that he's referring to. you know?
They introduced a couple of new villains. I really like Katie Sackhoff's Aminet, or what was her name? I forget.
her name was the Blacksmith, as was her supervillain name, but I could not disagree with you more. I loathe her. I hate every inch of her in that show. Like basically, when she showed up, it was like Flash fans were like, man, could there ever be a more annoying character on this show than Iris? And then Katie Sackhoff was like, hold my beer. You know, like, with that fucking accent, like, oh my God, like, who told her to do that? You know, like, who was like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to mince about and talk as if you think you're the Joker, but British, you know? And it's like, her performance is one of the worst I have seen in a show like this in so long.
Do you remember the chick with the metal
she's got
hand?
The gauntlet. Like, she's got the half-ass magnet.
Oh, that girl.
Yeah, she carries the bucket of shrapnel with which to fight people with. It's ridiculous.
So I'm not gonna lie. I was digging her performance because it was so over the top and so twee. And I've been watching Gotham recently, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like a Gotham villain made its way over to the Arrowverse.
Crossover. Yeah, she totally belongs on Gotham. Like that's I expect that bullshit on Gotham, but like when she rolls in and she's just like, you know, bring me Killer Frost. I'm just like, dude, did you watch the dailies and see what your performance looked like, or did you just like go at it cold and say, fuck it, whatever goes on, first take, we're using it? You know,
subtle was not the word of the day, but I actually
have a plane to catch, I guess is the question. One take. We don't have any time.
Let's see, who else do we have this season? We have a couple new, because when Barry comes back, of course he makes more superhero or, you know, metas, because
he makes Barry one superhero, the rest are all assholes.
Because Barry always has to be the reason everything bad happens.
Yep.
There's like, I'm a little sick of every time Barry doing something causes some other like really bad shit to happen. I'm like, I'm ready for a whole season where stuff just isn't his fault, guys.
Yeah, especially when it's like a really easily avoidable thing that like and this time he didn't even really have anything to do with it. Like it's made clear the Thinker did it, but he just whines about it being his fault anyway. You know, because that's how Barry rolls. He's got to wallow.
Yeah, because when Barry comes back, at first he's all crazy writing super weird math and stuff on the wall, and he apparently later I found out that a lot of that is like some language that is shown up in the Legion of Superheroes, which seems kind of neat.
I do like how they are throughout the season keep trying to find when the phrase "this house is bitchin'" is going to come in.
Yeah, well, I like that it was clearly some of the things he said were stuff that was going to happen later, you know, and I like that they actually did think there. But that's the problem with The Flash in general. Like, they have a great idea about what they want to do, but they don't have 23 episodes of it, you know? And they're just like, shit, we got to spin our wheels for like 5 episodes before we can make any headway on this actual plot, you know? Like, how long did the Thinker just sit there and like make a sad angry cat face and not actually do anything before he came into the story, because they didn't know what to do with him yet? Like, they're like, oh, we only have like 2 episodes worth of material for the Thinker. So, yeah, he's still floating in his battle toilet, you know, and he'll just grimace.
I like the battle toilet. I'm actually into the battle toilet.
I mean, he looks cool. I do like him as a villain. Like, don't get me wrong. The episodes where he's actually being a villain are fantastic. They're the 2 good episodes of the season. But it's just, this season has been the most padding out of any of these shows that they've ever done at one time. Like, I think they did like 8 or 9 episodes, and 7 of them were pure padding.
Well, that's the shows they all have the problem of like I think they need mini arcs or something of just like there's just no way to stretch one story to 23 episodes, and so it's all about how all of them deal with the fact that they have to stretch. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed Flash returning to like a kind of episode of the week, you know, fluffier type story. It reminded me of season 1.
I would like that if the episodes were better. Like, I do not have a problem with the one and done monster of the week or villain of the week, however you want to put it, episodes, but because they were the best part of season 1, you know, like Captain Cold was one of those episodes and he was awesome, you know, but like, this time, who was the Kilgore? And like in the comics, Kilgore is a living machine. He's like a freaking like nanomachine T-1000, right? He's actually a really threatening villain. In the show, he's Hodor. You know, like he's literally just some fat middle-aged beardy guy. Like that's the extent of Kilgore's menace. And I'm just like, guys, if you can't do it, don't use him. Like use somebody that you can afford, you know, like don't pick the guy that would cost $1 million of CGI for 3 minutes. Like, no.
I do like every once in a while they bring up the speed stuff where I love that one of the first things Barry does when he gets out of the Speed Force is catch up on the TV he's missed at super speed.
That was pretty funny.
So he's like, yeah, I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Oh, he's alive.
Yeah, I do love it.
That was really
he's
good.
just watching Game of Thrones, like, oh, he's dead. Oh, he's alive again. Awesome.
Yeah, I like
so that
when they actually remember Barry can do stuff like that, but then it just hammers home how hard they forget that he can do stuff like that when it would really come in handy. Like when he was, for example, burglarizing DeVoe's home, and he for some reason decided to
so bad
out his costume like slowly, like slow enough to be captured on the security camera. It's like, what are you doing, Barry? You could literally read through every document in his house in 5 seconds. Like, what are you doing?
By the time it would take the camera to shutter a frame, you'd be in and out. Like,
yeah, exactly. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to walk in with a flashlight, you know?
No mask, no vibrating face, no anything.
Yeah, like,
no gloves.
Like, what the hell was he? Yeah, no gloves, for God's sake. He's a friggin' forensics cop. Like, what the hell, Barry?
So that really has, for me, that has nothing on the finale. Where the finale is...
Hold on. You guys are not even going to talk about the Council of Wells?
Okay, I wanted to talk about the Council of Wells because that was another thing that was so ridiculous. I loved it.
I hated it too. They saw Rick and Morty and they were like, we want to count.
Yes, it's the Rick and Morty Council of Ricks, but with Harrison Wells.
See, but again, they lowballed it. If that idea could have been so great if they thought about it for 5 minutes. If they actually were like, okay, these are 3 very different versions of Wells, but actually seem like realistic human beings, that would have worked. But they were like, no, this is Dieter from the SNL Sprocket sketch Wells. You know, here's freaking Hugh Hefner Wells in a terrible wig and Cyber Wells? What the fuck was with Cyber Wells? He had
He's
like
Mad
a
Max
potato
Wells.
glued to his face.
He has an Australian accent for no reason.
Oh, because Mad Max. Like, that was as far as that thought went. They were like, well, Mad Max is Australian, so he's Australian.
I'm sorry. I love that silly shit. Like, when they're like, okay, this makes no sense, but it's parallel Earths or whatever, and they decided to just do this fun scene. I thought it was fun. And then I do like Dietrich Wells, just like, Zach, I hear you don't like my character. Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh, he's so bad. How was the time on Sprockets Been Be Dance? Like, that's all I could hear every time he talked.
How about you, Ed? How'd you enjoy the season of The Flash?
It was okay. I didn't hate anything this season. I did not hate anything this season, but The Flash was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely bottom on my list.
See, he didn't like Dibney. I thought Dibney was like the bright spot.
I thought Dibney was really fun. I wish they would update his costume a little bit.
Yeah,
that's
what I was just gonna say. They need to get over the like, oh, he's wearing the pajama sock suit. Like, that joke was fun. You do that joke once. You don't do that for half a season.
He needs a different mask. That mask is what makes him look like a Ninja Turtle.
He does look like a Ninja Turtle. But yeah, I think the actor is perfect. Like, he reminds me of like 90s Jim Carrey, like Stanley Ipkiss from The Mask, Jim Carrey. And I think that's perfect. Like, that's how he should be. But, yeah, they just kind of are like spinning their wheels with him too. Like, you can tell in the finale, he's going to like put on his costume and really be a hero. And they're just going to putter around until then. Because that's how the show does things.
So let's talk about the mid-season finale where I do like how Iris has to choose between her new husband actually, and Caitlin, and he's like, well, Barry can take care of himself, or should be able to, because he's super fast and super smart. And I do love, like, yeah, Iris, that really should make more sense. Like, he shouldn't be a complete idiot.
You're right, but there's that scene, actually, I literally had to, like, double take in that scene, right? Because for half a second, I thought Wells was finally going to give her the chewing out that she's been waiting for like 4 years. And, like, you know, because she's like, what's their problem? And he's like, you are. And I was like, oh shit, Wells is going to drop the hammer on Iris right now. And then he goes, you're their team leader and you're not making a decision. And I damn near spit out my drink. I'm like, when is she the team leader? I was like, wait a minute, aren't you the team leader?
No,
like,
when you
like,
ban the leader,
definitely has seniority there. Like, even Cisco has seniority over her at this point for team leader. Like, she is literally the last person in the building, except for maybe Dibney. That should be
Come on, Zach, they need something for Iris to do.
Yeah, but they have to give her qualifications if they're going to do that. Like, she is the queen of the informed attribute, which is basically when, like, you have a script that never shows your character being competent or good at what they're supposed to be good at. It's just they tell you over and over again that they're good at it. That is her character entirely. Like, they told you she was a good reporter, but you never saw her doing it. They told you that, you know, like, she has no character beyond what they just kind of tell you for the week.
Can we just agree that she's not a good leader? Because in the first episode this season, what was her grand plan? Put myself in danger, because that will for sure knock Barry out of his crazy fit.
I saw that episode of Doctor Who and was like, okay, that'll bring him out of his coma to save me. You know, like,
so Jesus. I love the end here too with the Flash, because the grand scheme of the Thinker, after he takes a header into the bay with his toilet, which was pretty funny to me.
His flying battle toilet.
We even get to see the inflatable Flash suit again, which is fun.
It totally came to use.
And I really did laugh at that. I'm like, did they really make a scene just to justify it? They were like, we made this effect. You're going to look at it.
So I love that the Thinker's grand scheme was to get rid of his body because it was dying. So he's like, okay, well, while I'm getting rid of this body, I should frame Barry for murder, and then I'll call the cops to where he's caught red-handed with the body. And I'm like, okay, so is the show Thinker, Barry, or everyone supposed to forget that he has super speed? And that, like, oh, I could clean this up before the cops even come in here, or run away, or vibrate into another room, but he's like, don't run.
Yeah, there was literally any number of options he could have taken other than just stand there and go, derp! You know?
But I'm like,
well, guys, it's because he wants to be just like his dad. You know, get framed for a murder he didn't commit.
Yeah, and it's
Bill Bixby.
Like father, like son. So this is what really sucks, because it's like, show, we all know that Barry didn't kill this guy, so everyone should be cool with him just, you know, covering it up and not getting framed for it. In fact, there wasn't even a murder going on, really, except for the guy who the Thinker took the brain over of. Like,
and here's another thing, right? They actually show us that the human body is not really his body. That's like a life model decoy, because if you remember the first episode, we see him like out of his battle toilet and he's just like a regular dude. They don't explain that at all until the very end. And his wife pops his brain out of the fake body and puts it in the other one. So the body he left behind is artificial, and an autopsy would reveal that immediately. You know, particularly if there's a big empty hole where a brain should be. You know what I mean? They'll be like, what are these hinges that make the skull open up? Like, no one's checking on this? Like, did his wife just insist that he instantly be cremated and nobody checked? Like, you know?
The freaking Bachelorette episode where they gave you Drunk Barry again. but then you got girls going on girl power missions because
the
girl
second
power.
episode of a show called The Flash that did not feature The Flash this season.
Where did Julian or Malfoy's character? Where the hell did he end up this season? Like,
he went back to
explain?
Hogwarts.
It's Banana Heaven. I told you that at the end of last season when he like looks Caitlin in the face and he's like, "I will never leave you. I will always be here for you." I was like, "Oh, who are you kidding, dude? You are going to Second Banana Heaven with Sin and Huntress and fucking Roy Harper and all the other characters we never talk about anymore. That's where you're going, buddy." You know,
I hear Roy's coming back. I hear Roy's coming back, man.
I'm sure he's going to be back for like 2 episodes because they couldn't CGI him in with one graphics this time.
So for me, this season is probably or this episode of The Flash. It's on number. It's either I can't. No, I'm trying to think. It's either 3. I think it's 3. No, wait. No, it's 2. Like I actually I liked it a little bit better than some of the other shows, despite the finale being pretty bad. Like I was kind of like, really, is this what we're doing?
Hard 4 for me. Dead last.
Dead last for Zach. Any last minute thoughts before we move on to the next show?
I'm sure if I thought about it, I could find more things to rail about, but no, let's just.
I think we covered it. Let's see what else is next. Let's talk about Supergirl. How's Supergirl been this season, guys? Supergirl last season ended with Mon-El having to go off into Legion of Superheroes other land, and
the future,
which is a pretty cool finale for season 2. I really like that finale with the big alien invasion and shit. This season starts off with Supergirl.
The season 2 finale of Supergirl was better than the crossover last year.
It was. Yeah, it was. That episode, that finale was the shit. I loved it.
But the finale, the other thing that happened in the finale last season that I totally forgot about until the finale of this season, near the finale anyway, but the second Krypton pod from the cult-owned Krypton.
Yep.
Like, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I did too. I forgot that was like the stinger of last year, that was like the last shot until they brought it up again. I was like, oh yeah!
I am so glad I forgot about it, because seeing the rise of who we later find out to be Rain or whatever, like seeing her like become who she is, and then getting that like jaw dropping, like, oh shit, that's right, that happened last season. Oh my god.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Her storyline was by far the best part of this season. I like this season on the whole. I think it's the best one of the 4 for me. It usually kind of ends up being that way lately. But, in general, I thought they did the best with the time that they had. And like I said, I really liked the story of, what's her civilian identity name? Sam, I think.
Is Sam her daughter?
No, her daughter, her name begins with an R. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, I really enjoyed her whole arc of discovering who she was, because that actually kind of reminded me of like Unbreakable, like the good parts of Unbreakable, where she's like this normal person, that's just like, oh shit, I have superpowers, and like, the way that developed was really, really good. I liked that a lot.
I really liked her induction into the girl circle, into the girl group, where she got invited to wine night, and like her daughter can come to the holiday parties, and
that's one thing you'd mentioned the bridal shower episode of The Flash. Like Supergirl does the whole feminism via female camaraderie so much better than Flash does. Like so much better. Like they both try to do kind of the same thing in that episode that they did in the bridal shower episode, but like for some reason, just the combination of Iris, Felicity, and Caitlin, just nexus of stupidity. It just makes it so much worse. Whereas Supergirl just is so much better, so much better.
But
Lena Luthor continues to be a fun character. I really like her.
Surprises me still to this day. I really thought that she was going to have a different trajectory as a character.
Oh yeah, dude. No, yeah. When they first introduced Lena, I was like, I wonder if she'll just go away next season. But she's here to stay, and I really, really like her a lot. And her thing
Yeah.
with Jimmy Olsen came out of nowhere, but I'll believe it.
Is it just me, or does Kara and Lena have better chemistry than literally anyone else on the show?
Oh,
it
dude,
is
no,
not
that-
Every
just
time
you.
they're
That
like,
is
according to
a
the
Kara's
shit,
new boyfriend, it's like, oh, I hope he has at least half as much chemistry as she does with Lena.
That is a legitimate ship, dude. People want that to happen.
Yeah, according to fan fictions, you are nowhere near to being alone, Zach.
That's actually part of the reason why people hated Monel so much, because they just wanted him gone and Lena in his place.
See, I liked Monel, but I'm not sad that the boyfriend drama characterization is gone. I kind of liked what they did with him, that he went away for a while and he kind of came back like grown up, like a different person. I
He
liked
aged 7 years, but looks exactly the same except with
Well, he's got
facial
a
hair.
beard now. Clearly he's a different person.
It's a 7-year-old beard, man.
So yeah,
I was kind of
me,
hoping that they'd have the costumes, though. Like, I feel like we're not going to see their Legion uniforms.
or at least some flight rings. What's going on here?
We're gonna
Come
get
on.
like those doofy, like black and white, like jumpers that they were wearing, like in the pods. That's it. You know, like
Yeah.
we're not gonna get the Legion suits. I'm guessing,
So-
and I'm betting the Legionnaires we see are going to just be friggin'. We've already seen Saturn Girl, and it's going to be Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad because they are the cheapest, budget-friendliest Legionnaires.
Why
You
not
know?
Yeah,
Brainiac,
probably.
what, 9, 7, whatever Brainiac one that's on the Legion? They already have, like,
I can't remember if he's 5 or 13, but either way, yeah, there is a Brainiac in the Legion. And I do hear he is supposed to put in appearance, but I don't know. Like, we weren't given any real clues about that in the show.
if
But I do
anything,
remember-
he'll be the one to, like, time travel back to take his friends back to the future. Because he's so
for
smart.
one cameo appearance, because he's expensive.
Yeah, so for me, the biggest problem of this season, which overall is still another solid season of Supergirl, I think they lean too heavy on the Kara is sad because Mon-El is
Yes.
off and he might be dead. And I'm like, guys, Mon-El was not that compelling of a character. It does not justify 6 episodes of Kara being like, I'm really sad.
Yeah, nobody
And I'm like,
signs up to see Mopey Kara. Like, the best thing about Kara is her enthusiasm and her energy and, you know, like, the whole enjoying herself being a superhero thing, which is, like, super rare nowadays. You know, that's what's appealing about her. The, like, Kara Danvers was a mistake. I shouldn't have a normal life. Wow. Like, nobody wants to see that shit.
Can I just say, and diverge a little bit, I loved it when eventually Alex's, like, friggin' wedding is called off, of course, because that was going to happen, and she's super sad, and Kara's trying to cheer her up. She's like, we sat around and you moped for 6 months, or whatever the fuck that was. That's okay, but I can't do it for a weekend? No, you suck. Go away.
yeah,
She got a point.
my relationship was actually affecting to the audience. Fuck off. Like,
Yeah, that's actually that really bugs me the way they handle Alex and Maggie is that it's like I like it on the what is it? I guess the even numbered episodes when they're getting along and like they actually are allowed to have a relationship. But I swear to God, they cannot go longer than 2 episodes without. Wow, this insanely trivial thing has blown up to make us break up, and we're not going to talk to each other for a few days. And by the time I realize I was being an asshole and apologize, you're mad and do something, you know. And it's like, God, just fucking stop. Like,
Hey, Zach, be grateful you don't know what it's like to be in a dysfunctional relationship.
what?
well, I do like that they break up for a solid reason of like one of us wants to have kids and one of us doesn't, and it's like, oh, okay, that's a solid reason that breaks up a lot of
Like,
relationships.
It would make sense, but like I was super pissed because they did one of the best things they did with with Maggie's character with her dad. With that whole
Yeah.
she goes through this great arc about how she, you know, is who she chooses to be and she doesn't need him to approve of it. And it, you know, like that was all great. And she goes through all this shit and literally the next episode, the very next episode, it's like, well, that's glad we don't have kids. You want kids? And then they just break up and you're like, you seriously just went through all that shit. And now you're doing this? Like, no, writers, you don't get to play that bullshit.
Well,
Like,
How else are
think
they going
to
to bring in Catwoman or Batwoman
well,
or
the
whoever
thing
her
is-
girlfriend
the thing-
is?
I think Batwoman is what you're
Yes.
talking about. Like
Yes, it is Batwoman.
the thing with that is that the actress actually ended up wanting to leave, so the writers had to write her out somehow. So the writers were
that
cool with keeping.
no, that actually makes sense then.
Yeah, that's why it feels as rushed as it is because the writers actually wanted to keep that relationship around longer, and the actress wanted to leave. That's why it feels kind of rushed like that.
Well, she's a
Okay, well
she upset us all.
that's different. That's kind of like a being human situation where like characters die because they quit last week, you know, and like you didn't know what you could do. That's different. I always was frustrated with their like on again, off again. Like we broke up on Tuesday, we're back together on Wednesday, we're breaking up again Thursday, you know, like.
And we'll get married Friday.
Yeah, then we get married Friday.
It's the Solomon Grundy of relationships.
Yeah.
That's a nerdy joke for you guys, but this is the right place to make it.
Deep nerd cut.
Before we move on, can I talk about the childhood episode?
You go for it.
I really enjoyed that episode. Overall, it wasn't anything. It was just like they went to their mom's house for the weekend. She slept in her old bed and felt better. But we get a whole flashback episode of their initial bond as sisters and that murder mystery thing that, like, I had a little existential crisis because when they revealed that her friend knew she could fly and stuff, I wondered if, like, when he was about to be gunned down, he was like, no, Kara will come save me, and then she doesn't.
Wow, that's super dark. You took a sharp left turn into Darktown, buddy. That didn't even occur to me at the time. But
I've been thinking about this episode for a while. So
I did find that it was very well written. I liked the whole lesson about you can't save everybody that she has to learn at an early age. And the other thing, holy shit, were those teenage actresses like tiny clones of the full size ones? Like, holy shit, man.
They were good.
I was stunned at how accurately they portrayed their adult counterparts, particularly the Alex one, who even did that weird thing where she like pulls her mouth to the one side and like cocks her head more as she gets angrier. Like, I was like, holy shit, like she's really her clone, dude. That's crazy.
No, that was pretty good. I did like Lena and what's his name? Damn it, Jimmy. Kind of like when they ended up together, it did feel like, oh, is that what we were doing? But then by the end of it, I'm like, yeah, they have enough chemistry for me to get along with this. That's fine.
Oh,
it just felt like that.
I binge watched this season. I binge watched this season, and like I forget after a couple episodes, I asked Zach, who's like caught up. I'm like, yo, do they hook up? Because I think they're gonna hook up. Like it feels like they're gonna hook up.
Maybe it was more apparent than I remember. But yeah, it does give Jimmy something to do rather than just run the Catco.
Yeah,
they
really don't know what to do with him right now. And it's a shame because he's a good actor and he's like likable and, you know, like when he's allowed to do stuff, he's good. But I feel like a lot of the time they're just like, well, Jimmy sits in the office for the rest of the episode. You know, and like that's it. Like that's
there was a significant less amount of what's his face? His superhero alter ego. Like Guardian. He wasn't kicking Guardian. He was not kicking butt this season.
There wasn't there an episode where somebody basically like damn, I forget how it went, but doesn't somebody like basically tell him what a hypocrite he is for being the Guardian and he has to like kind of stop and think about it, like, and I think he deliberately dials back on the Guardian for a bit. I just can't remember what the circumstances were that somebody, like, he's lecturing somebody else and they're like, wow, really? Like, you don't want to be Batman. You have no right to tell me that I'm being an asshole, you know? I just can't remember what the circumstances were.
And I do like this season's finale, too. It's kind of a downer of an ending, but it's this really brutal fight scene between Supergirl and Rain that is just kind of like a...
Yeah, the action scenes on Supergirl are the best when they have two, like, you know, Supergirl level characters beating the shit out of each other. That is always the best part of any of these shows.
I really appreciated how they ended the mid-season with like the defeat / death of Supergirl and her in the crater and the little child passerby. It's just like, is she okay? Like,
oh, little ship, he's not fine. She just got her ass whooped.
And also, I like the whole reason why Kat's not on the show anymore. She's now assistant to the president.
Yep.
Yeah, she can literally phone in her cameos. Like, literally phone them in.
So, yeah, for me, this is my solid number 2 out of the shows this year so far. Which was surprising, because it did the Mon-El stuff, the angst did drag it down for me. Otherwise, it would be my number 1. like it usually is. But yeah, what do you guys feel about it? Like, where would it rank for you? Is number one, you said, Zach?
Yeah, it's definitely the best for me, even with the screw ups and bad decisions in the writing in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, it's my number one. Actually, it was the last one I watched because like Zach was like complaining about how the things he didn't like about it, and I went into thinking, all right, if it has these problems, it'll be my least favorite this season, so I'll save it for last, and it ended up being my favorite because it was just like
that's not at all what you said. You were
what?
like, no, I know it's going to be the best, so I'm saving it for last.
No.
That's literally what you said to me.
Is that what I said?
Yes, that is what you said.
Well, zippity doodah, I am like out of my mind.
Invented a whole like backstory for this decision.
No, that was Doppelganger Ed. That was
Yeah, that was Earth 7 Ed.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
Earth 7 Ed. I do not want to know what Earth X Ed is.
Oh, Earth X Ed will be dead.
But should we talk about
Be
my
way
number
dead.
one
That's
show?
actually probably true. Yeah.
Should we talk about my number one show? Surprisingly, for this mid-season, guys.
Like,
Was it Legends?
Guys,
it's the only one left.
guys, Legends got so good this season, guys.
Dude, Legends is fun. Legends is so fun, but it makes no goddamn
Legends-
fucking sense.
Yeah,
Legends-
I feel the same. I love it, but it's stupid.
There's
so,
no
It's so
real
dumb, but
substance.
They've turned into the skid, and we're like, okay, we're the dumb show, and I kind of love it for it. Like when
that
the
is
season
true. I did say that to Ed earlier in the year that I was like, their no fucks given attitude definitely benefits them.
It is super endearing. It is super fun.
For God's sake, they have the Buana Beast on.
Yes!
I couldn't believe that. Like he hardly does anything. He gets in like one fist fight and like lifts one heavy thing and grunts. Like they didn't even pay him to speak. But I was just like so blown away that I saw the Buana Beast in live action that I was like, wow, go Legends. You know? I didn't even care.
I was so happy. Like the first episode, they come back. The Time Masters come back and fix time. And Rip comes back and is like, "Yeah, I created a time force." Like, wait a minute, we just saw you 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's been 10 years since then. We created a time force to like fix up your problems here, and everything's good. You guys can disband because you guys suck at what you do. Wait, Rip,
he does straight up tell him, he's a guy, you really suck. You suck on every level by every metric. You should just retire.
It's funny that the only good incarnation of Rip is when he was evil. All his like good sides suck.
100% agree. I don't really like snivelly yes man Rip, and I feel like they need to explain to me how he started the Time Bureau but is now a sniveling yes man to several other people. You know, because he works for Agent Angry Pants. I forget her name. Sharp?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah. He works for her, and she works for at least two other people. And
No,
it's like,
she
wait
works
a minute,
for
how
him.
did you found this place, but you are a subordinate to like several people?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be equal to her and some of the other people, but yeah,
He
there's
is not
definitely a
equal to her
superior.
at all. But,
There's
like,
a
even if on
superior
paper
to-
he is, like if she says something, he's like, yes, mom. Like he doesn't question it, you know. And he shouldn't, because she could probably tear him in half like a phone book. But like, still, it's just
Speaking
so
of people
weird to
she
me.
tear in half like a phone book, what about the chemistry between her and Sarah?
So I call that one.
It's so
I did
good.
call early. I was like, okay, these two are gonna fuck by the end of this season.
Oh, dude, their first
Yeah, you
fight
can
scene.
feel it. Like as soon as they get face to face, you're like, oh. You know? And when
I
they
hate
fight,
you.
like
I
the
hate you
look
more.
they give each other, they're like, oh my god, I've never been handled like that.
I hate you. I hate you more, and I really hate that my hand is on your hand right now. Me too. I hate it especially.
She's like, I said, are you as turned on as me right now? Yes. I think it's Sarah's mission to literally have sex with everyone throughout time. Like that's like her mission in life.
She is the Captain Kirk of this crew, and she does not care who knows.
She has a
it.
checklist.
Every minorly historical figure, she has to bang them.
Sarah has a checklist, and she definitely checked one off during the crossover event.
Oh yeah, she did. We'll get
That
to
was
that in a
awesome.
minute.
That's true. If all that,
We'll talk about it later.
he was leading up to that, it was worth it.
So yeah, I love Sarah as the leader, like the official leader now. That's great. Mick is still kind of the Wolverine loner in the crew, and he's a lot funnier, like fucking with Julius Caesar in the beginning.
Your salad sucks.
Your salad sucks. He gets a great one-liners every once in a while. Ray Palmer gets a chance to hang out with his little kid self and do a whole ET episode with a Dominator. That is
their Strange Things
so
episode.
Cute. I love little baby Dominator in me.
It's like, oh my god, this show is so dumb, and I love every fucking minute of it. Like, it's just
that was the right kind of dumb. That was the right kind of dumb. The Universal Monsters like Halloween episode was the right kind of dumb. That worked. It's like sometimes though you're just like, what are you doing, guys? Like the Helen of Troy episode. Like you're just like, what is happening right now? Like, the only reason that episode is worth seeing is for the Wonder Woman nod at the end.
I thought for sure, I thought for sure, like, oh, she makes all men just stupid with being in love with her. And I'm like, wait, shouldn't it work on Sarah as well? Or does it only work on men specifically? Because Sarah should be digging on her, too.
Yeah, they don't even make it clear if she has a legitimate superpower or if she's just supposed to be so amazingly perfect that everybody falls for her. Like, I didn't really understand that. I'm going to go assume it was a superpower. Because it's the DC universe.
I love the title. Just Helen Hunt. That was beautiful. When I saw that, like, on the queue, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I
rolled my eyes really hard when I saw the title in the, like, when you click on it on TV, it, like, tells you what the title of the episode is. I would roll my eyes really hard. But I did chuckle at the actual title card when they did, like, the 1930s movie, thing. That was cute. But, in general, that episode sucked.
Also,
and they do a body switch episode. Oh my god,
a
so
beautiful
90s.
Body switch episode.
I thought it was funny how bad of an impression they did of each other.
It was
like on these CW shows, like they usually do a pretty good job of like, oh, this person is in this person's body, so they act like this, or here's the younger version of them. They usually do a really good job of that. But with Stein and Jax, like, despite working together for years, like they did not know each other's mannerisms at all.
Well, I think it's hard because Stein doesn't know how to act like Jax because Jax's actor doesn't have a personality. And Jax doesn't know how to act like Stein because Jax isn't a good actor.
They're more like characters.
Jax couldn't act like Stein. His impression was just Shatner, pretty much. He was just like, what are you talking about, Jefferson? Like, he was just doing the pauses, like the pregnant pause, Yeah, that was pretty bad too. However, the overall Stein arc was pretty good for the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
What they do with Firestorm, because they realized, like, man, we can't, guys, we don't have the budget to keep doing for stuff Firestorm, guys. So we need to write him off somehow. So he gets a kind of an arc in this one. Let's see. We get a new character. What's her name? The Muslim.
They never use her superhero name, but it's Isis.
That's right, it's Isis.
Yeah, they never call her that even once in the season, but that is her superhero name.
Yeah, shockingly, they don't use it.
I think, honestly, the reason is because it's tied up with whatever network used to have the Isis TV show. Like, because remember when they had the Shazam show, they had the Isis show that went with it? And I think it was like the Batman 66 show that it's like the network that shared it was like, we're not giving you the rights back. You have to pay us. So they're like, well, fuck it. We'll just use her real name. Like, screw you.
Also,
they bring back. No, go ahead, Ed.
I was gonna say I was gonna give Legends all the points for bringing back Gorilla Grodd and making him like relevant again.
Yeah, the Grodd episode was really good. That's true. Grodd, and I like how Grodd was like 3-dimensional on that one. That like, yeah, he's actually helping these people. Like, yeah, he's kind of in it for himself, but that does not change the fact that he is still helping these people.
It also had Operation Daddy Issues, which was beautiful.
That was the guy who played his dad. He's like the thug in like so many movies, and his Mick impression, I was just like on the floor the whole time. Like he did a better job of impersonating Mick than Jackson Stein did of impersonating each other, and he was terrible, but he still did a better job. Like his growling was ridiculous.
I liked how Mick got into it, and like at one point he was like, "Yes, Daddy. I mean, sir."
Yeah. Yeah, I did like how they had the same mannerisms. Like they both like torch the bad guys, and like they both have the same like grunt about it when they're done. I was like, yeah, that's good. There you go.
I do, I enjoy that episode. That's the sort of shenanigans I want to see people get up to when they do time travel stuff. They introduced like an overarching threat that's more of a force or something called the malevolence or something. But the main,
I thought his name was Moloch.
It's Moloch.
Moloch? Oh yeah.
The hell.
But yeah, the main arc for this first half has been Damien Dark has been back again, chewing up all the scenery.
He's a human wood chipper, man. Scenery just flies out the back of him like a mulcher.
Dude, I loved the finale with the Vikings things and them taking orders from this stupid, this like a Furby. Like they're taking orders from a Furby.
Dude. If we're going to talk about the finale.
Neil McDonough shows up and I'm like, I am Thor, God of Thunder.
Oh my god, his wig. His friggin' wig and the helmet. Oh my god, he looked like such a tool. It was perfect.
It's great.
Wait, and whose book was it that was like, told you it would work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, he literally does exactly what Ray said. He's like, damn it.
Oh, man, that's so much fun.
But yeah, no, that finale, best thing about it, at the very end, the fucking stinger made me so excited.
What was the stinger again?
Fucking Constantine, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot they showed back up.
Like, fuck you, Constantine.
Dude. Shit, man.
Yeah. No, I'm into that as well.
I shit my
but
pants, man.
Speaking of crossovers, should we just finally talk about that Earth X crossover, guys?
It was fucking phenomenal. Every single goddamn episode, every single goddamn second. It was amazing.
Wow.
So, I decree this. If you're a superhero show, you gotta fight Nazi doppelgangers at some point.
Dude, many, like, kills. Like, relentless kills. Like, machine guns to the chest kills. You can do whatever you want to Nazis.
The FCC lets you kill Nazis, man. Like, they're the same classification as, like, robots and zombies. Like, you can kill them. Yeah, no moral repercussions whatsoever.
I did love how all the heroes who would normally have that whole moral thing were like, yeah, but they're Nazis, so who gives a shit?
It was Kara and who else that simultaneously went, I hate Nazis.
It was Kara and Oliver.
No, was it Rory?
I really liked Ollie's anti-Nazi.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Rory because they fought Nazis in Legends.
Yeah,
but Rory says it later by himself. He's like, I hate fucking Nazis.
No, he does the Indiana Jones line. He's like, Nazis. I hate these guys.
I hate Nazis.
But like, I loved how Oliver was just like, no, we're not doing this. Not Nazis. Not today. Not a
damn it.
Like, and I really like how, like, when he was pretending to be his evil self, like, they all, like, do the Zig Heil, and he, like, won't do it back. He's just like, Hail Victory. It's like, he just won't do it.
Dude, Nazi Captain Lance, only one with an accent.
Yeah, what was up with
that? He's the only dude with a German accent.
He was having a ball, though. You could tell. He was like, orders which must be obeyed at all times. Like, he was fucking having fun. He's like, I don't care if nobody else is doing it. I'm doing it.
I had a daughter with a previous affliction.
Affliction.
I'm like, dude, say affliction again. And that was hilarious.
Say affliction again. Dude, I'll give you a quarter. Just say it again.
Just one more time.
And we gotta talk about the checkbox that we mentioned earlier. You know, everything was worth it because Alex and Sarah hooked up at the wedding, which was, I called it. Zach, didn't I tell you when they gave her, like, the fucking crossover button? I'm like, they're gonna meet and they're gonna bang. It's gonna happen.
Look, they come over for the wedding.
Moment was brilliant. Like, how embarrassed Alex was about it was just perfect. Yeah. She's like, hi, person I've never met.
Dude, she didn't even remember her name the next morning.
No. It's like, Sarah, right? I do love because she's, they're at Barry and Iris's wedding, and it's a great excuse for a big crossover for everyone being in the same place at the same time. I love that Alex is over at the bar drinking her sorrows away, and I love to feel like Sarah had a vulnerable woman's senses tingling, aha.
No, not really though, because like
had a bad breakup.
Like when she came over there, like her eyebrow didn't raise until she said it was a lady. That's when her eyebrow raised, and that's when I was like, oh, well, okay then.
Oh, come on. Sarah was fishing as soon as she got over there.
No, man. Sarah just wanted the scotch.
Basically a sexual predator at this point. Like,
no. Give Sarah more credit. She went over for the scotch because, good scotch. It's a wedding.
No, bullshit, Ed. I'm calling bullshit. She was a predator. She sensed a wounded animal, and she went in for the easy kill.
Yeah, there's definitely shark instinct involved in that process, man.
She might have known it on an intellectual level, but she knew it on an instinctive level. Oh, okay.
Normally I'm the one who takes it to that level, but I'm ashamed of you two. Sarah has more honor than that. I say that knowing she has banged many, many a women and left that one nurse in like the 70s to like with feelings she can never understand.
Yeah. Sarah's kind of an emotional abusive monster if you think about it. Like she's really a bad person.
She's just having her fun.
Yeah, she's
at the expense of others.
I'm a time traveler. I'm technically dead. Like there's there's no rules.
Don't forget.
Do what I want.
She wooed and seduced a random like lackey at the time travel bureau to get like a key or something.
What that was interesting about this crossover too. Sarah like mentioned like, oh, I had a Maggie once, and I had to leave her behind. Like the first time she's ever mentioned Nyssa, I think, in any way, shape, or form. I was like, oh my god, I actually forgot.
They never bring that. They bring up Nyssa so much on Arrow, you forget that she was part of Sarah's life.
Well, the thing was that Nyssa was always the one that sold her, like, my beloved. Like, you always felt like when she was by herself, you always like, oh, that's right, like, she's in love with Sarah. But Sarah, whenever they're together, Sarah never sells it with her for whatever reason. So it's always hard to, like...
been together, like, more than once. Since she supposedly died, hands of quotation marks. And the last time they were together, Sarah was still the Black Canary, and there was only one Black Canary.
Yeah. But I think the people that get the least amount to do are probably our Historian, Steel, and Vixen.
But no. Before we even get to that, can we like one of the best moments in the entire crossover? Fucking Tommy coming back for a glorious scene and then poof away again. But it was such a glorious scene.
Dude, I seriously think that Tommy cameo was entirely born of the fact that everyone had the fan theory that Prometheus was Tommy last year.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit,
kind of a nod
that's a
to
good
that
idea. Like, we should have done that.
Maybe we should have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that Tommy's there for like 10 minutes, though. Like, he's technically in 2 episodes, but like, you don't know it in the first episode until the last second, and then he like poisons himself in the very beginning of the next episode.
Dude, no, yeah, my heart was like, my hopes were high of like, oh my god, we're gonna have evil Nazi Tommy for the crossover. I didn't, I'm realistic. I know he's not gonna stay for like the whole season, but I was hoping, for more than just one scene.
Yeah, if I have a big complaint about the entire CW verse as a whole, it's that they bring in great ideas and then drop them and don't do anything with them. And you're like, hey, wasn't that a thing? Did you guys forget that? Like,
also, like, they brought back Metallo and Red Tornado for like a brief cameo seconds here and there.
Well, I understand with those two because they're really expensive. And they did pull out the stops on them. They did look really good, both.
No, like, I'm not complaining how little they were there. I'm just, like, amazed that they, like, dug that deep, because they were in season 1 of Supergirl.
If you listen, the guy who dubs the voice of Metallo is that fake Clive Owen, Daniel Craig-looking dude who played him in Supergirl. Like, it is actually that fake-ass Clive Owen voice coming out of him.
Continuity.
He gets 2 lines, but they got him.
Yeah, so the Nazi doppelgangers come down and fuck up that wedding, which is pretty good. They vaporize the priest, which is great.
That was
That was awesome. We of course they hide their faces for a long time, even though we know who most of them are. Like, there's no question on who the fuck they are.
The trailers ruined that. Like, even if you didn't know in the comics that there is like the Nazi League of whatever they're called, you know, or the Justice or the Rikers, the Reich League, I don't remember. But either way, even if you didn't know that, like, I'm pretty sure the trailer outright showed you that Overgirl was Supergirl. Like,
no, like,
even pretend.
The reveal wasn't who they were; it was their relation to each other. Because Overgirl and Dark Arrow,
no sense whatsoever. That was like, wait, so not only is Ollie Hitler in Earth X, which made no sense whatsoever. That he's like, yeah, I'm the Fuhrer now. I just am. Fucking that he was with Kara, and you're like, why? How did they even know each other? Why are him and Kara from the same Earth on their world? Is Supergirl a natural resident of every other Earth but this one? Like, what the fuck? You know?
Dude,
what
when
happened
they
to Krypton
kissed,
in this universe?
Yeah, like, why did they even have a Supergirl at all, since she's technically not a native of this universe? You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, there is a Kara in their universe. She just didn't crash to Earth, which means that Krypton might still be alive. I don't know. I'm not theorizing that hard, but
I'll grant you she might still be in that pod, but that's as far as I'll give you.
You might still be.
I love the fight scenes in this crossover, though. The fight scenes are absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
They were awesome.
They give a chance for everyone to shine. We get everyone to walk in a line, which is always cool.
It's gonna shine. The Ray.
Armageddon walk.
Dude, I love. You know what I even loved?
Snart. Oh my god, the crossover was so great.
Yes, they had gay Snart. That was great.
Dude, I love gay Snart. So good.
And friggin', again, Being Human. Friggin', George from Being Human was the Ray.
Dude, no, the second he like came on the screen, I'm like, I forget who you are, but you are a decently known British actor.
Yeah, right. As soon as you see that it's Russell Tovey, you're like, oh, he must be important.
and then like he had the pink triangle, so I'm like, oh, Russell Tovey, you're gay? Mm-hmm. You're the Ray. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I thought he was
a
great,
cool addition.
Though. I really did like the Ray in general. Like, even with his totally fakey American accent, he did really well. And even the suit didn't look goofy. I mean, he looked like the Rocketeer. That's pretty much what he's supposed to look like. So.
I do love the fact that we had Nazi doppelgangers for Arrow and Supergirl, but Flash had to fight Wells again, which is like, wait a minute, I killed you.
Saw any of the what is it? The CW Seed version?
Yeah.
In that version, there is an evil Barry. And I very much believe that it was meant to be Evil Barry right up until they filmed it and they realized, wait, we could just have Tom Cavanaugh be an asshole for a couple episodes. Let's do that instead, and changed it at the last minute because they released a poster way back with the 3 primary evil Nazi leaguers on it. And it was not the Reverse Flash. It was a fully black suited Flash with a gas mask on with like red trim. So, like, I think he was definitely supposed to be Evil Barry right up to the last minute, and they changed it.
Yeah, probably. I do like how they hand wave it away, which is like, wait, you're dead, and how will you have that face again? Time travel. It just doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, he literally goes basically timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
There's time travel, there's time remnants, there's like plastic surgery, there's nanobots, there's a reason.
There's super speed running angels of death who are weak to slipping on ice. I mean, speed is weird.
Dude, there was a kryptonite arrow. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I did think that was cool, a little Dark Knight Returns reference in there, though you do have to question, 1, where did he get it? 2, why does he not remember he has it on like several other occasions where one of those things would come in handy? You know, like that's one of those, like, we had it and I guarantee he will never mention it again. Like, ever.
Yeah, I like that. I love everyone getting in on the. You know what I really loved? I really loved everyone just standing around in the time ship, going over the plan. It reminded me very much Hall of Justice type stuff of just everyone standing in their costumes.
Yeah, well, everybody had really
like,
good chemistry too. Like that helps. Like the people of the CW verse all get along really well in real life. So like you can feel their actual camaraderie when they do those scenes. So it works. You know.
Yeah, I remember earlier when I said Wally got shafted for the whole crossover. He got sent away to no reason whatsoever. Instead of helping fight when they need everyone they had, it's like no, just go chill in the corner. Yeah,
they literally tell him get the civilians to safety, and he's never seen again.
Yeah,
that is in the first episode when the wedding is broken up. Like he stops one arrow by Prometheus, I think. And or Tommy, whatever you want to call him, and like he saves
cool with some bullets too.
Yeah, and he saves somebody. Yeah, he does that, and then Barry is like, "Get the civilians out of here!" And he's like, "Right," and then we never see him again for the rest of the crossover, like ever.
I do like the. I mean, on one hand, I wish I wish we could see more evil versions of the other characters in the more Nazi doppelgangers. But then I remembered, oh wait, a lot of the cast in the Arrowverse are all minority and LGBTQ representative characters that wouldn't really fit in a Nazi
wouldn't
universe.
fit with the Nazis and all. Yeah, that wouldn't fly. However, I do feel that they missed some opportunities because yet again, they did not have Superman in the crossover, which I think was a mistake because they should have had friggin' Uberman. Because I mean, seriously, when they kept mentioning the Führer, I had no idea it was Ollie, like, even though he was right there. So I'm like, okay, who the hell is the Führer? I'm like, oh shit, wouldn't it be crazy if it was evil Nazi Superman with like the Richard Spencer haircut was the Führer? And then that never happened. It's like, oh, I guess Oliver's the Führer then. When did that happen? And why? Why is he in charge and not Kara, who could literally melt his face? Like, I don't understand that dynamic.
I do like how Kara is having fun, like the actress for Kara is having fun playing an evil version of herself. Same with Lance.
Oh, they definitely had fun being evil. Everyone except Ollie. Ollie never seemed to be having fun.
I liked Ollie because it's like, oh, it's he's basically being the same as he always is because he's always one step away from being an
asshole
kind of a monster
anyway,
himself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or also equally valid theory. Stephen Amell is not an actor with a great bit of range, so they probably just decide like, yeah, just be what do your normal thing.
I'm gonna say the former.
To have him be like mustache twirly villainous. That would not have worked, Like
that's why I agree with the former because
like it would not go.
But yeah, that was, such a fun crossover. A lot of great moments. Ray riding on one of the T-spheres like Hawkeye and Ant-Man and the Avengers
Ray
film.
saving the day, holding back the scalpel. Like
that's such a deep dig nerd reference too, because like when Evil Wells is standing there with the scalpel and Kara's like, she's like, my cousin will save me. And then he drops some comment about having defeated Superman before because blah, 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 blah. But friggin' Ray Palmer saves her, who played Superman in something else. So technically, she was right. It's like a terrible, like, you have to be such a nerd to even understand that reference. But it was like, I was like, wow, nice little Easter egg there.
Yeah. I do even love the fact that the Team Arrow gets shafted like they always do in the crossovers. They always get fucked over like everybody else.
Well, everybody does. Literally everyone who isn't the Flash, Ollie, Supergirl, Sarah, and maybe a couple other people got shafted, and they always do. Like the Legends are always kind of wait until the last episode to take part in things, just like they did last time. Supergirl supporting cast is always missing. Because I guess they're like, oh shit, if you had Superman, Martian Manhunter, Miss Martian, and all these other super powerful characters, this fight would be a lot faster, I guess. But still, it's annoying that they never remember they exist.
Yeah, I enjoy that we get a couple kills in, like with Ollie killing the Fuhrer at the end there, but I do like Flash, are we gonna really just let Reverse Flash go run away and cause trouble another day?
Yeah,
Like,
that
I
was
get
so
the fact
stupid. He like Reverse Flash almost literally goes like, "I will see you again, Flash." At the end, it's like, "Well, I'll see you next season." Like, good God, man, like really, just beat him up and put handcuffs on him, at least.
Then Firestorm's death was actually, or I should say, Stein's death was actually pretty poignant.
Yeah, even if it was super telegraphed the entire time, it still worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how Legends in their finale was like they bring Martin Stein back, hands of quotation marks, literally just to tell you, no, we're not bringing him back. He's dead. He's staying dead.
He's dead.
Get over it.
He's definitely dead.
I burned the letter immediately, Jefferson.
And Leo with that puppet.
Oh my God! Yeah, what the hell was the deal with the puppet? I think Mick spoke for us all when he just savagely beat the puppet to death.
And so yeah, Leonard Start is a fun addition too. I hope he gets around a couple more cameos for good Captain Cold. He's
going to stick around for at least the back half of the season, but after that, who knows? So. Because he originally said he was done before, and then he was like, well, all right, I'll come back for the crossover, and then he just stayed. So, like, I think he just doesn't want to leave, even though he thinks he does. Like, he leaves for half a season, he's like, fuck, I'm back, I want to do it again.
Sure. But yeah, wow, what an enjoyable crossover. Way better than Justice League, in my opinion, and I assume a lot of others as well from what I read online.
I still haven't seen the movie yet, but I definitely agree that this crossover is probably the best thing the Arrowverse has ever done, period. Way better than last year. Like they did a lot of things right that they did wrong last year, like the speedier pace and actually feeling like the episodes were one continuing story instead of 4 random episodes that share some guest stars, They
didn't stick half the cast into the Matrix for most of an episode.
Yeah, like because I think last year the crossover happened during the Arrow 100th episode, and they got like really obsessed with the idea of, oh, well, we have to also do a 100th episode of Arrow in the middle of this crossover. So yeah, his mom and dad are guest starring in the middle of this alien invasion for no fucking reason because it's the 100th episode. Yeah, it was just a bunch of bad planning all around on that one, And again, with the crossover this year, well, a lot of the characters were interacting from the beginning, whereas last year it was pretty much just Flash and Arrow most of the time, and then Supergirl showed up halfway through, and then the Legends at the very end. This time there were still a lot of people left out, but the all 4 shows' presence were felt from the first episode.
Yeah. So yeah, man, what a fun crossover. I would highly recommend it, even if you don't watch the Arrowverse shows. It's actually kind of works. My roommate is not caught up on them, but yet he really enjoyed them when I watched them with him.
Well, yeah, you don't even need to be caught up because they kind of exist in their own separate little universe from everything else. Like all of their plots go on hold for that crossover, and then they resume as if the crossover never happened.
Indeed. Well, we've been going on for quite a while on these shows, but I don't know, you guys. I'm very invigorated with this season of the superhero TVs. I'm very interested to see what we get after the break. So I'm excited.
I do agree, but as a side note, I have to say I feel like the Marvel shows, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'll say that right off, but like shows like The Gifted and Legion and stuff, they're kind of kicking DC's ass right now. Like, because I watched all of Legion, and Ed and I are both watching The Gifted right now, and they are generally much better than any given episode of Arrow, like or Flash or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to say Marvel is beating them entirely, but like they have found the right groove for how these shows should be, and I think DC's kind of fallen behind on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode, this great crossover ourselves.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell the people one more time where they can find you and your stuff? Zach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter under Unlikely Hero Studios. We have a super-comic.com is our own personal website. And keep your eyes peeled for our new book, The Surgeon, which is going to be available everywhere January 3rd.
Great. How about you, Ed?
I am Odebro Ed with the Odebros Podcast. We are a weekly anime podcast. You can find us on Twitch. I believe ours is just Twitch/Odebros. I'm terrible at this stuff. But just give us a Google and you'll find us for sure.
All right. Well, that is fantastic. Thank you guys so much again. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled programming right after this. Well, Travis, it's the end. It's the end of this episode.
Is it?
It is. Not a traditional Christmas episode.
I thought you were going to say it's the end of the CW shows. I got excited for a second.
Why would you be excited? You don't even watch them anymore. Plus, you liked crossover on Earth X, right?
It was fine.
Yeah, we gotta put it in there so we can fight more evil Nazi doppelgangers. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to us. It's been a fun year. Hopefully in the next couple weeks and stuff, we'll do some of our best of the year stuff and looking forward into 2018, what's coming up. The usual stuff.
Right.
But until then, you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the hell you celebrate. Have a fun time.
Season's greetings.
The war on Christmas is never done. But we are going to get on out of here. And until next time, we are Unapologists. Geek out and we're out.